Back with you again here for the Napacard 200 from the Evergreen Speedway, the Evergreen State Fairgrounds in Monroe, Washington, just north of Seattle. And the rains have abated. The drying's really beginning to take place. Here's your AutoZone race analysis with $300,000 up today. 32 trucks to start. The total distance on today's race on this just about actually 0.6 of a mile track is 129 miles. Last winner here, Rich Bickle, a year ago. Of course, he won at Portland as well that year. Bickle not in the lineup for today's event. See the trucks lined up there on the quarter-mile track just to the inside of what they still designate as a half. And let's take a look at the starting grid as to how they're going to roll out for today. Joe Ruttman on the pole, just under 100 miles an hour, 99.7. And Jay Sauter on the front row for the first time this year. In row 2, you've got Greg Biffle, that outstanding runner from the Portland track, where he was 3-time track champion. And Stacy Compton, the winner at Portland. For row 3, Ron Hornaday is there, 19 times a winner, and Jack Sprague, his nemesis, is going to start right alongside. Row 4 has Mike Wallace and Brian Reffner. For row 5, fifth place finisher at Homestead this year, Ron Barfield and Lonnie Rush go at it. Row 6 will be the High Plains drifter Rick Corelli and Tony Roper. Going to row 7 today, Doug George is there and Randy Tulsma, who had that second place in the last outing. Row 8 will be Bob Keselowski with one of the Dodge products and Rick Crawford. Row 9 is Mike Bliss, who won here 2 years back, and Tony Raines in his Ford. Row 10 is Lance Norwick from Oklahoma, and the kid, Kevin Harvick. Row 11's Wayne Anderson, and Andy Houston's there. Row 12, Rick McRae and Boris Said to the third. For row 13, you have Scott Walters, the Kentucky 30-year-old rookie, and Butch Miller alongside. In row 14, it's Jimmy Hensley, and flanking him is the former Grand National champion, Chuck Bound, from out this way. Row 15, Terry Cook. Ernie Cope gets a ride today in the number 55 after Dave Resendez was released from that mount. And on row 16, Dominic Dobson, former IndyCar veteran, a provisional starter in 31st, and Randy Nelson, the youngest driver in the field at 19, will start in 32nd position. As we mentioned, there's a real fine crowd that's gathered here this afternoon, and they say that we're less than an hour away from a start. A lot of folks still out there in their cars waiting until they're pretty sure that things are dry enough to get a go. And here comes some of the equipment out there into the infield they're going to be using. The Randy Tolsma story today. Alan Bestwick can fill us in a bit on that.
Well, Ken, we've talked about the Portland race a couple of weeks ago here on TBS, and we've talked about the Northwestern connection. We've got both here, and Randy Tolsma chased Stacy Compton all the way to the checkered flag in that event. And Randy, I understand, brought the same truck back here, just a couple of things changed on it, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, it's a good little truck. It's a truck I won Bakersfield with a year ago, so it's a truck I like, a truck that worked awfully well at Portland, and come here and see what we have.
We've been talking about throttle management. Now, you come from an open wheel background where you ran sprint cars, and when you ran them on a pavement, making the rear tires last was a big issue. Does that experience help you at a racetrack here like Evergreen?
I'd like to think so. You know, Bakersfield was a tire management race, and we did awfully well there. Portland was a little bit of tire management. This is a big track for tire management. You have to be so cautious with not only the rear tires and throttle management, but steering the truck too much, trying to be too aggressive with it too early. Going to have a big tendency to wear out front tires. So hopefully Dave Fuge gave me a good setup, and he knows this track awfully well. So looking forward to the race.
Is Idaho Northwest?
Idaho's awfully northwest, so this is close to home. A lot of hometown fans here, so of course fans on TV with IWX Motor Freight and Chevrolet representing an awful lot of people here, so looking for an awful good run.
Now, Randy's crew chief, Dave Fuge, came from this area. At one point, he had a car building business where he had more than half the field that ran in the weekly races here at this racetrack. Maybe a little local advantage there might play into Randy Tolsma's hands this afternoon. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Alan, we're with Rick Crawford. Talked a minute ago to Stacy Compton, who won his first career race 2 weeks ago. Rick won his first race at Homestead. Now let's talk about Monroe. Everybody's talking about tire management, throttle control. That's a tough thing for a racer.
It sure is, especially when you're geared up to go to the front, you know, and you're in these big heavy trucks with the big motors in them, and so you have to calm down in the seat a little bit. We've raced on tracks like this before back east, and you know, sort of accustomed to it, I guess, on the short track level, and maybe we can take care of them and bring the old circle bar forward onto the front.
Rick, I know you're 8th on the points right now. 2 weeks ago, you got dumped from behind, kind of a controversial incident. You were upset. Is that behind you? How do you approach that today?
Hopefully when we left Portland, they closed the gates behind us at the racetrack. And today we got another race. We polished our truck up, same truck, but you can't tell it. I mean, it's brand new, rebuilt, and I think we can do it.
Okay, best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, Ken Squire.
Rick Crawford, another one of those Alabama drivers, and boy, do I like the way he runs. He ran so well at Pensacola, over there at Montgomery. You're an old Alabama boy. What is it, the water or whatever happens down there? That old Alabama gang keeps thriving, keeps coming back?
I think it's just some of those tough short tracks down there in Alabama. No, Rick was brought up around Mobile. He had to run Pensacola, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery. That's some awfully tough short tracks to get around down there in Alabama.
Larry McReynolds on a busman's holiday away from Earnhardt and Company. They get ready for the 600 here on TBS in a couple of weeks, and we'll be back with more from Monroe, Washington in a moment. Preliminary lap. Take a look at row 1. Rich Bickle. '50th anniversary of NASCAR all over America. It's a big story. No different out here in the Northwest. We're just north of Seattle at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds in Monroe. They want to celebrate with a major series, the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. And celebrate they will. They say we're less than an hour away, about 1:30 Eastern, when they're going to crack the green flag over this field. Had a great race here a year ago. You look at that pavement out there, and I know every race fan says, come on, an hour? Well, that's very old pavement. I don't think this thing's been repaved in about 25 years. That makes a difference. And it is drying out, and I think we are going to get a chance to get this one in today for sure. Winds are out of the south, and it's beginning to dry out nicely. In fact, that shot there looks pretty good. Well, we're going to go back a year now and give you some highlights from the race held here 1 year back in NASCAR Craftsman truck racing. Join us a year ago. Some heat in this thing and finish to dry it out. As we get down toward race time, I should tell you that Rick Bickle won that race from a year ago with Jack Sprague in second, and that had a green, white, and checker. Had 7 cautions, and one of them inside that window at the end of the race that extended it past the 200 laps. And what a story it was, because Bickle had dropped a cylinder in the second half of the race, ran on 7 cylinders, and he ran away from everybody. Let's see what's going to happen today. And let's go back trackside now and go down into the pit area to Steve Burns.
and with Mike Wallace. Mike, you did not have a good run in Portland, but you guys sent your equipment home all the way back to Concord, North Carolina. You start 7th today.
Yeah, we got a great truck here today. You know, the guys, I want to take my hat off to my team. Those guys drove all the way back from Portland, drove all the way back out here. You know, it's like 110 hours of driving round trip. And it paid off. We were the quickest truck in practice. Driver screwed up a little bit qualifying. He knew he had a good first lap, then was going for it the second lap and kind of got loose. But Pure later truck's running great. Hope to bring home a win today for Schrader Racing. Kenny's down to Peebly Racing today. Go dirt track, and all the families back home watching us hopefully pull one off.
All right, best of luck, Mike.
Thank you.
And folks, I want you to meet another driver you may not be familiar with, but he had a great run. Lonnie Rush qualified 10th. Lonnie, your hopes high today?
Well, we're just looking for a great day in the ANG Cole Chevrolet. It's been awesome off the truck. This truck got it a complete makeover between Portland and here. We put sides on it, a tail. It got beaten, battered last week, and we've raced it every race this year, and it's been an awesome truck for us.
Okay, Lonnie, best of luck. Now let's check in with Alan Bestwick.
All right, we're here with another one of the young drivers hoping to crack victory lane here in this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ron Barfield out of the Florence, South Carolina area. Ron, you're starting 9th today. Your thoughts on approaching this race? You've had a good truck here in the past.
Yeah, I tell you, really run good here in the past. And the biggest thing here is just keeping your tires under you. I mean, it wears the tires out so bad. And, Goodyear brought a harder tire here for this time, but it's still going to be the same way. I mean, you kind of got to not race anybody to start with and kind of save your tires there at last. And, I think we're going to take this Ortho Chevy, and I think it's going to run good.
Everybody has their pre-race ritual they go through. Now you've been sitting around for a little while since you did yours. There don't seem to be any jitters about you.
No, I tell you, I used to get real nervous before I got into it. I mean, it's kind of come out of it. The more races I run, it just gets better and better. And, I hope we can get this here. I hope the rain kind of stays away. And I'm starting to look a little better here. And, I don't really do anything special for the race. Just kind of wipe my shoes off, get all the water off of them, and go racing.
First couple of laps on a green racetrack like this, what will you be trying to feel in your truck?
I think the main thing is just everybody kind of getting a line and just kind of, not hit the wet spots in the racetrack. That's my thing today, is you're still going to have the inside of the racetrack, the grass. You use a little bit of the grass coming up off of turn 2 over there, and you can't get down on there, because if you get on there, it's going to sling mud up in the racetrack. It's going to get worse and worse. And, just the main thing is just kind of stay in line. And also, you can kind of save your tires when you do that. And, like I say, whoever saves their tires is going to win this race today.
Ron, good luck today.
Hey, thanks a lot, man.
Ron Barfield starting 9th. He's headed towards his truck right now. They've called the drivers to their machines. The track drying continues, and Ken, hopefully, will be able to fire the engines up in a couple of minutes.
I would say we're very, very close to getting this underway. Our congratulations to Buckshot Jones, who won the Grand National race this afternoon. Coming in second was Tony Stewart from Indianapolis. Hey, Larry, Green Mountain boy, Kevin LePage got 3rd up there at Bob Bear's beautiful 1-mile facility. Back in a moment.
And where the
Okay. You got another one of those numerical sheets. Okay.
Super job down there, and Mike Cliff. Our Grand Marshal today for the Napacard 200 is Lon Snow, and Lon is the owner of the Bonnie Lake Auto and Truck in Bonnie Lake, Washington. Something his father
Things are looking better. They say perhaps 15 minutes, and they will be waving green. Chris Morgan to put the flag down on the field. Bring you live coverage of this Craftsman truck race out here in the state of Washington. 2 weeks of fair weather. And then Mother's Day weekend, look what we get there.
Well, you know, this weather here, it's been kind of one of those aggravating rain, Ken. You look at the radar, legally it wasn't even supposed to be raining, but it was like a thick fog, and but the clouds is lifting a little bit, and they just about starting to see some smoke come off those tires. They're just about to get this track dry.
Clouds pulling up over the Cascades, beautifully backdropping this race facility. Right now, Steve Burns is down there with a guy who's in the front row for the first time this year in a truck that has never won at Monroe. We're speaking about the Richard Childress truck. It has yet to see a checkered flag on this track. What about it, Steve?
Well, Ken, you're right. We're with Jay Sauter. A lot of people have been paying attention to Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague. But, hey, Jay, all you've done is put that number 3 truck in 3rd position in the points.
Well, I'll tell you what, these guys have made it easy for me this year. They really worked hard, and they've just given me good equipment, and we're just trying to do our best with it.
Okay, let's talk about this track. Wet conditions here, will that affect your team, your approach? What about it?
Well, I think everybody's going to have to be a little cautious in the early going. This track is real abrasive, real coarse, and it takes a long time to dry. And also, along with that, it really eats up tires, so everybody's going to have to be real careful today.
Okay, Jay, best of luck. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you see Jay Sauter's number 3 outside of the front row as it gets ready for this event with Joe Ruttman planked on the pole for the race in that Roush Exide. Now, coming up on TBS just a couple of weeks away, World 600. Now the Coca-Cola 600. It was 3 deep when they started that very first year. Wild then, and still wild and great today. Champions want it all if you win the 600. Dale Earnhardt's won it. DW's won it more than anyone. Who will win it this year? Well, you'll find out when you stay for the Coca-Cola 600 right here on TBS Sunday, May the 24th. Let's go to Steve Burns. Oh, where are we going? Well, we've lost Ron Hornet. We'll take a break and then get back. I was going to talk to you about you going to the 600, McReynolds. We'll talk about that when we get back. Smoke. Do a little more good if he slowed down just a little and kept it on the track. Drivers are getting to their trucks right now for this start for 200 laps at the Evergreen Speedway in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And Alan Bestwick is with a guy who's won on this racetrack.
I sure am, Ken. I'm with Mike Bliss from this northwest part of the country, Oregon. And Mike, you've had a tough couple of weeks here, these last 2 races on the Truck Series. Your thoughts on maybe common problems that have caused you to stumble a little bit?
Well, we've had all kinds of problems this year. It's not just one thing you can say, well, we fix that. It's just one of those years that we're just trying to look ahead and not look behind us. And hopefully here at Monroe, maybe that'll change some things. We're starting awfully deep in the pack, but, you know, I think that ASC4 has got more in it. And I know it does because after qualifying, I wasn't happy with myself. And we went out first, and that probably wasn't the hot ticket. But I think there's I think we're going to try to see if those new Goodyears are good at first and try to pick up some spots early, or maybe just ride till everybody else wears out, or you don't know. I mean, it's a green track. We've changed springs and shocks since last time we were on the track, hoping we could practice this morning. We didn't get it on the track.
All right, come on. Everybody wants TV time on this pit crew. Hold that sign up there. I don't know if we got that on camera or not. Hold it up. There we go. We got him on. There it is. Okay, happy Mother's Day, everybody. Let's go to Ken Squire.
Ah, yes, indeed. Big Mother's Day. We got some Mother's Day stories before we get through this one, McReynolds. Some of these drivers have got some real stories. Hey, Braves tonight's the story right now. Andrew Jones and those Braves up 4.5 on the New York Mets. They host the best in the West, the San Diego Padres. 7:05 tonight on the Superstation. Best in the East against the best in the West, San Diego. And America's team, the Atlanta Braves. 7:05 Eastern on TBS. We'll take a break, get back, and I think we're going to get this thing cranked up and we're ready to roll. Stay with us here. And there they go down the backstretch.
Hot coffee and confectionaries. You know something that's throwing me a curve on this deal? Normally, I'm hearing in my headset when we're coming back, and I'm not hearing that.
Yeah. Can you make sure that Larry gets those count backs when we're coming back from commercial? He'd appreciate that. Oh, my.
Well, I was telling him I wasn't hearing the count back when we was coming back. Normally, I'm used to hearing it.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott. And the Superstation TBS.
Yep. Yep.
Anchoring that broadcast today, and if you set your VCRs, they certainly hope you set them for the next hour or two. We Ken Squire and Larry McReynolds in the booth, and of course they'll have their reporters throughout the entire area. As will our friends from the NASCAR Truck Network. That'll be on KRKO 1380 AM in Everett. That is stations that bring the vibe of racing every Saturday night right here. Super Days. That's right, indeed, every Saturday night for our main event. We got Ellsworth up in the booth doing trackside for us today, but 1380 come to listen to every Saturday and also today at Jerry's Desk for NTN.
Do you ever go near the truck shop?
Once in a while.
Looks like we're just about down to where they're going to let the trucks out here. I think we may take a few laps under a yellow flag. Let those headers put it right down on the asphalt and see if they can't finish drying it, Larry.
Well, they've done a good job of drying this thing, Ken. But, yeah, if they could get these 20-something, 30-something trucks fired up, get them rolling around, get that heat off the headers and exhaust pipe, that'll dry this thing in a big hurry.
See what Steve Burns has to say about it.
And with Brian Refner, Brian's had 2 great runs, 2 straight top 10s, and a good starting position again here today. Brian, your team has really turned things around.
We've got a great year going so far, and you know, it's a real upbeat swing for myself and the team, and that's what we need.
Let's talk about this track briefly. a short track. You were an ASA champion. Does this suit your style?
This is the kind of tracks I grew up on. You know, half mile is what I grew up racing. So, you know, I don't know if this one's my style. It's pretty I shouldn't say it wore out, but it wears the tires. And, you know, 30 laps into this race, it's going to be a whole new ball game. So, I'm used to these size tracks, so we'll see what it does for me.
Okay, Brian, let's check in now with Alan Bestwick.
All right, I'm with a man who is the acknowledged short track master of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday. 19 wins in this division, 12 of them on short tracks. How about this one here today? Can you do it?
Oh, I sure hope so. I just sit here talking to Dennis Hughes. He said the sun's coming out, so we got the glasses ready, but it's going to be tough. This track's going to be like Wilkesboro. It's going to be tower management, and I told him to go now because we need the coolness of the track to keep the tires underneath it until we get the rubber down. So the first 100, I think you're just going to see everybody play it cool and try to put some rubber down on the track, and then second 100, you can see a good race.
You're locked in a pretty tight fight for the series championship, 8 points behind Jack Sprague. You've traded the lead after the last 2 races. You get into a race like this, are you focused on him in the championship, or do you find out how that sorts out after the event?
Well, Fred Graves and Dale Earnhardt and we all talk about it for this Napa Chevrolet, and you know we got to keep getting them top 5s, and that's what Jack's been doing. He's been consistently top 5s, and you know we win one and go back to 5th, and win one and go back to 8th. So I mean, we just need to go out there and try to concentrate on top 5s, and we can get out of here with a good top 5 finish. That's what we got to focus for. So no, we're not looking at Jack Sprague. It just happens we're racing against him again. We happen to run into him at Phoenix, and he's starting side by side again with me again, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But no matter what, it's going to be tire management. And today, you're not racing against points, not racing against nobody but the racetrack, and try to get some rubber down. And you know, Goodyear, once we get some rubber down there, the Goodyears are going to take hold good. So we're just going to have a lot of fun today.
Ron Hornaday is starting 5th. Now step on over here with me. He walked away from me. That guy down there in the coat walking away from us, that's Dennis Huth. He's the Vice President of Administration of NASCAR. Come over here, Dennis. I turned around because you were right behind me and you walked away. Tough job to try and get this racetrack dry.
Well, actually, it's everybody else's tough job to try to do it. We're just standing out here trying to direct a little bit of traffic, but we're getting there. We're getting there, getting real close.
How do you go?
My glasses? Sun's coming out.
Sun's coming
yeah,
out. That's right.
It's coming.
See, he's pretty confident. How do you go about the decision of when to try and load these guys into the trucks and get this thing going?
Actually, we've been taking a few drivers out one at a time and asking their opinion. Of course, everybody's got an opinion, but we want to make sure the track's right before we do anything. And I think we're getting to the point now we're pretty close to getting them into the trucks, sending them out. We might go a green, yellow for a couple laps and make sure they get the feel of it. Once everybody feels comfortable, once we feel comfortable with it, drivers feel comfortable, we're ready to go green.
All right, Dennis, we hope that soon, too. Thank you for your time.
We've been working too long at this, right, Alan? And I think that the misting has finally stopped, so that's what's going to really help us. But we appreciate it. We appreciate all those fans sticking around, too. We're going to get this race in.
All right, Dennis, thanks. That's Dennis Huth, the Vice President of Administration for NASCAR. To Steve Burns.
Alan, we're with Jack Sprague, the points leader, defending champion. You start alongside Ron Hornaday. Jack, your outlook for today?
Well, I tell you, the Hendrick Chevrolet is running awful well, and you know we came close last year to winning this race, and we've had very limited practice because of the weather, and so we've reverted back to basically our last year's setup, you know, with a few minor adjustments. But you know, I think maybe if anybody's got an advantage, hopefully we do, because we ran awful well here last year, and at the end of practice yesterday, we were pretty strong on old tires. So I think it's going to be the guy who saves his tires and uses his head and dodges the water holes.
Jack, that seems like such a difficult thing, such a concept for a racer to grasp, and that is to be patient, yet that's what you have to do today.
Well, it is, and it's probably harder for me than just about anybody, but I've learned over the past few years sometimes you have to be, and I don't always do it either. But, you know, I've came close to winning here. I've came close to winning in North Wilkesboro, and it's about the same basic idea, and it's just what you have to do. But, like I said, I think the Hendrick Chevrolet is real strong, and I'm confident we've got a good shot at winning this thing.
All right, best of luck, Ken. They're getting ready to get buckled in down here. Let's go back up to you.
He couldn't have gotten closer last year except one spot. Second place finisher Jack Sprague a year ago to Rich Bickle. Yeah, take mother to the races. It's Mother's Day weekend out here in Washington. Crowd is gathered and they're waiting for Dennis Huth and company to put these trucks underway.
Okay. Get over here.
Good crowd. Yeah.
You're going to have to pick me off the floor.
A lot of Napa hats.
No, I did not.
You really want to do that? I think those interviews are great right now. Okay. Wouldn't you rather just show that last segment? Because that's... Okay. Back with you once again, and they're saying maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, Larry, before we kick this one out.
We're starting to see more and more gray on that racetrack, and that's a good sign. And again, I think when they feel like they've got enough gray, they'll put those trucks out there and we'll at least run a few laps of caution, just like Dennis Heath said.
Well, you can carry 120, 130 miles and 125 miles an hour probably down in these straightaways, so that's why they're being so careful in different tires than they've run before. Let me ask you a quick question about Charlotte in 2 weeks. I know you guys have built a brand new car down there, and see if Earnhardt can't win that thing again.
Well, you know, we built a brand new car. We got to get him healthy. He's still suffering a little bit from a wreck at Talladega, had those burns. But, you know, this is an off weekend for Winston Cup, and normally it's the teams that need the off weekend. When you look at the picture right now, it's the drivers, I think. You got Bill Elliott that took 2 hard crashes 2 weeks in a row. Derek Cope, Mike Skinner, Greg Sachs. Drivers was looking forward to this off weekend, I think.
It's a dog's life being a chief mechanic, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. You know, I've told a lot of people working with Odell, I love him to death, but it's like dog years. 1 = 7.
All right, we're just about down to maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go. And let's look at some racing again from last year. We'll take it from halftime, the second half, just at the start of the second half, right here at Monroe 1 year ago. This is how we called it. Okay, we're just about ready to go. Bickle for the lead, number 17. His mom looking on as his scorer today. Mike Bliss, mom's here in second spot on this Mother's Day weekend. Ron Hornaday's mother, they flew her in. Brian Refner's mother, a couple of aunts out here, had a little dinner party, and lo and behold, out of the next room walked his mom. Didn't expect to see her here.
But you know, the mothers of these drivers, so many of them are here on a week-in, week-out basis. This is not just because it's Mother's Day.
That's right.
These folks really support their sons in their racing effort.
These are racing families.
Yes, they are.
Spend a lot of time at racetrack as we get ready to go green. We'll see if Rich Bickle can contain this field as we get ready. 32 strong, still out here ready to go. Hornaday is going to try to get that number 16 truck back in that lead lap. Mike Bliss hangs right on to the 17. Michael Docken in third, rocking up into that spot around some lap trucks, and Miller comes with him in the number 20. Back there in fifth is Jack Sprague. 24 has a loss of 6 in the Dodge, number 29, that had an outstanding qualifying run here and started third on the day. Here comes Bliss to the outside. He's not waiting. Chevy on the inside, Ford on the outside as they hammer down into turn 1. And here comes Hornaday. Scoops up underneath, takes out a couple of lap trucks, moves himself up to challenge, try to get that lap back right now in number 16 in the grass.
Yeah, look at Hornaday. He is on a mission. He's got to get that lap back if he's to have any hope for a strong finish here this afternoon. That means he's got to get by the 2 of Bliss, he's got to get by the 17 of Bickle, and then he'll be at the back of the pack, and all he's going to do is just, well, pass just on everybody. And I would not write him off.
Last year's winner, Mike Bliss goes high, Hornaday to the inside, and Bliss is able to close the gate.
Crowd's loving this. Dokken, meanwhile, has fallen back a bit. Butch Miller underneath him with that white truck.
The number 20 pulls up into 4th, and Dokken pinned on the outside. He'll suffer for that one. They've got Dokken on the high side, and Sprague will take advantage.
Bickle just running nice and smooth out there. He doesn't really have anybody to contend with, at least at the moment. Butch Miller's really got that position, Ken, in the number 20 truck. Matted himself over a poor qualifying run, shaved his mustache last night, came out here from 18th, the position he has started in 3 times this year, and gotten himself up into, where is he, 3rd spot.
And he's working on Rick McRae, a lap down at the present time. That 02, that's Rick McRae, whose 2 sons and daughter are a major part of that race team, and what a job they've done. They qualified 14th for today's show. Here's Miller down on the inside. McRae, an old veteran. Of course, his dad was a great racer in Southern California. And a well-known name, but Butch Miller, yeah, he is mission sent at the present time. And he's bringing Sprague with him. Dokken has finally found himself a spot on the inside of the number 18 truck. That blue, white, red livery.
Butch Miller has been Mr. Consistency this year. He's got a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, a 9th. Incredibly, he has not led a lap with all that running he has done up front.
Started 18th on the field. Miller in the white, number 20. Likes this racetrack and running it well right now. There you see the front of the field with Hornaday trying to get that lap back. Remember, he is a lap down. Tires went completely off the number 16 truck early in the going. So if you watch, the Hornaday is on the tail end of the lead lap, and they're
wow.
Whoa!
Hornaday unlapping himself. That brought the crowd to his feet.
That's going to put him into that lead lap in 13th position.
That's exactly what he had to do. Now, if he can get himself a caution flag so he doesn't have to burn up those tires trying to catch up with the back of the pack. What he really needs right now is a caution.
Unlapped, Ron Hornaday sets his sights on trying to draw away from this field. And boy, is he doing it. 3 truck lengths here in the main straightaway.
Hornaday is running right at the bottom, Ken. There's just about nobody running as low as he is. He's watch those left side tires that go way down to the bottom.
Bickle and Bliss, 1st and 2nd. Miller comes to 3rd. Sprague roars back into 4th. Dokken is in 5th, and maintaining 6th is Bob Keselowski.
Only 2 cautions so far. 4 last year, 4 the year before, and Hornaday needs one right now. Right now. The sooner the better for Ron Hornaday. And look at Miller coming up in that white number 20 truck on the bottom with Sprague behind him.
4 trucks for the lead. This is lap 111 of 200. And I think they're willing, at least the Bickle outfit, to back it up just a little. And that's giving Miller and Sprague a chance to get into this thing. Back there in 3rd and 4th. Bliss willing to ride with Bickle and save those tires as long as he can. Hornaday just trying to drive away. Because Hornaday change springs left to right, try anything to get this thing to work.
Well, they can't be too conservative because that green number 24 back there is on the move too.
And here comes Miller to the inside on Bliss. Butch Miller is there. Miller making the move. His mother, Jean Miller, will be cheering him on right now. Came all the way up from Green Valley, Arizona, and didn't want to see him finish out of the top. Boy, what a show he's putting on. Went to the barbecue last night.
And dad and wife, the
Yeah.
whole family was there.
Yeah.
Butch's real name, by the way, Henry. You know why they call him Butch? Because he's Henry the Third. So he named his son Henry the Fourth, I guess that would be.
Yeah. Butch Miller was a racer from a young age. He had a great car owner, his mother. The problem was, in those days, she didn't know it.
Miller, 5th in points coming into this race.
The height of 2 years old, he wanted to be a race driver, believe it or not. And when he graduated from high school, he had a huge trophy in the locker room that he couldn't bring home because he was dragging my car. And he was very good at it because he won.
But Mom didn't know. Bet your Mom knew. 27th in this race a year ago. Today, Butch Miller, number 20, challenges for the lead, bringing Jack Sprague with him. Great truck race, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Monroe, Washington. We're down to lap 116. Only a couple of official cautions, plus that one for halfway. Beautifully driven front four. There you see them, all framed up together. Butch Miller, who's had a lot of experience but loves this truck racing. He's tried everything. Coopersville, Michigan campaigner right now is being challenged, and it's Sprague around him for third spot. Jack Sprague mixing it up and getting back into this thing big time.
Remember, Sprague has never won one of these truck races on a short track. 5 wins on tracks a mile long or longer. And when you look at the statistics, they say that Sprague is the mile and up expert. That's why they call him Mile Track Jack. Walking in yesterday, he said, you're going to have to change after this weekend. I'm going to be half mile Jack.
23rd 2 years ago, 12th last year, just about halves it every season. So this is the year Sprague ought to win it. We'll see. Stay with us.
Where's Mr. Snoop's name? I know that. I just love that name. Lon Snoop. Ask you about him dropping that cylinder last year and gave him all he needed to win. They haven't started him yet.
He's almost buckled in, Fred.
Yep. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our Grand Marshal, Ron Zimmerman, owner of the Monterey Napa store, over there giving words on the floor. Gentlemen, start your engine! We're starting on the last stretch of the 3/8 right now, where you're good to go.
Rolling thunder begins to rumble here at Monroe, Washington. Command of fire engines has been given. And the NASCAR Craftsman trucks are ready to roll. Little daylight fireworks to introduce 32 of the finest drivers of NASCAR's touring ranks. 14 Fords, 13 Chevrolets, and 5 Dodges ready to go. Here's the starting grid again. Joe Ruttman and Jay Sauter for row number 1. In row 2, you have Greg Biffle and Stacy Compton. In row 3 today, Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague as we come to you live. Mike Wallace and Brian Reffner for row 4. Row 5 is going to be Ron Barfield and Lonnie Rush. In row 6, you've got Rick Corelli and Tony Roper. Row 7 is Doug George and Randy Talsma from Idaho. Row 8, Bob Keselowski and Rick Crawford. Row 9 is Mike Bliss and Tony Raines. Lance Norwick and Kevin Harvick fill up row 10. The 11th row has Wayne Anderson flanked by Andy Houston. Row 12 today is Rick McRae and Boris Said III. Row 13, Scott Walters is there with Butch Miller. Row 14 is Jimmy Hensley and Chuck Bow. Row 15, Terry Cook and Ernie Cope, who ride for him. And Dominic Dobson and Randy Nelson fill out the field. Provisional starters. We'll take a quick break and be back as the field will roll out. We'll have a rabbit take a few laps in this track, see if the conditions are okay to turn them green. Wait a minute, what are they? Say it again. Bliss, Hornaday, Raines. Oh, shoot. Okay. Got the format? Thank you. Got it.
Turn 2, that's a caution. I guess it's a caution light also right there. There's a flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just barely heard something.
We're very happy to have our Northwest Chevrolet dealers with us and the official Chevrolet pace truck for our Napacard 200.
Road speed now.
Pit road speed 25.
Flag man in the middle of 3 and 4. They say attack reaching around here at 3400.
Back with you once again on row, not too far away from a green flag today. We're watching action from last year that Greg Biffle finally won. I'm sorry, that Rich Bickle finally won. Started on the pole, got down to 7 cylinders, and then took off.
Well, as a crew chief, the last thing I want to do is let an engine builder know we got too much power. But there's many a time at North Wilkesboro, you've adjusted, and I know we keep referring to North Wilkesboro because this racetrack is so much like North Wilkesboro. The tires just want to spin up off the corner. There's many a time I wanted to tell the front tire changer, change both front tires. While you're in the left front, reach up there and see if you can grab a spark plug wire and pull it off.
Larry McReynolds with us here today at the Evergreen Speedway. Let's take a look at the in-truck cameras, properly put. Greg Biffle, Ranger truck, he's going to give you these shots. Ron Hornaday starting 5th with that Napa truck, number 16, looking over those front 2 rows. Here's Mike Bliss, well back in the field for Team ASE, former winner on this track. Tony Raines, he'll be starting in the 19th position with the Pennzoil truck. Lance Norwick, NHL Dodge. Boris said he's going to be starting 24th on the field in the Federated Auto Parts truck. And Ernie Cope, Tom Gloy's machine. Change of drivers there. Ed Resendez in that the last time. He's been ousted. Ernie Cope takes over, but only for today. Has been the crew chief, and he is the cousin of Derek Cope. There you see the number 86, Stacy Compton, that won at Portland, Oregon. And we understand they're going to send him out as a rabbit and turn some fast laps and see if this thing is okay to go.
Yeah, what they're going to do, Ken, you know, to find out if the racetrack is really ready to go. I mean, they can look at it, but they're going to have a truck or trucks run at speed. So Stacy Compton and his crew has agreed, hey, we'll go out there. We maybe won't go full bore, but we'll run the truck fast enough to see if this racetrack's ready to run. You heard one of the crew chiefs telling the driver there the air pressures are low. They really drop the pressures down on the tires here just to keep them from building up, because once they let those pressures down, that will help the truck hook longer, better up to the racetrack, longer in a run.
We're listening to Compton's radio as Stacy turns a few laps. Tell you what, he turned a few heads a year ago, Stacy Compton. Went down to Martinsville, Virginia, said they didn't have any idea what they were doing, but he had dreamed about running a Winston.
Back off there.
Running up on a Winston Cup race in that time.
They want you to back way back down there and try it again there.
He ran up on the field just a little bit too quick there, so he's going to have to let them get way ahead of him where he can run at least a lap or two to try to find out if this racetrack's ready to run.
Away from you.
At Martinsville, Virginia, that first Winston Cup race, he blew everybody's mind.
Looks real good. A little bit damp up top, but I would say probably in about 3 laps, we should be ready to go green.
He qualified 9th that day. And then he ran up in front all day, finally burned up the brakes. Said, I just didn't know how to run the brakes.
Really had a pretty good run, but yeah, I don't think he'd been used to running no 500-lap race at a place like Martinsville. And in the end, yes, he did use his brakes up.
There in the middle of the corner right now. Okay, take off, take off.
Phil catching Stacy Compton over in turn 4, so he's going to take off here and try to run as many laps as he can before he catches the field, just to give him an idea where this racetrack's really at as far as being dry. These guys have not had much practice at all, Ken. They got about 1 hour yesterday, did get qualifying in, but very little track time.
Doesn't take him very long to catch the back of that field. As they come out of 4th, he gave him a lap.
Up on him.
He's right back into it. Graduate of South Boston. Turned out so many great racers. Sadler brothers, of course, those Burton brothers, they were big South Boston starters. They say 3 to green. 3 to green. And these are not yellow laps, these are non-counting laps. These are technical laps. There's that breakdown on the equipment on the field. Ford and Chevrolet tied for the manufacturer's points as we come to race number 5 of the 1998 series. Ford's 1-2, Chevy a couple. Dodge still looking for that first win of the season. And they're going to go to green-yellow. Give them a few laps there. Stacy Compton waits in turn 2. He'll pick up that spot on the outside of the second row from whence he'll start this race, right behind Jay Sauter. Joe Ruttman will be tucked down on the front row. Stacy pulls into his slot.
Ken, he's sitting 4th in the points, and you know, when you think about that and you look at the top 5 in points, he's really the only one that's in the top 5 that's not tied in with a Winston Cup team. So that says a lot just for how strong he is. There you see Jack Sprague leading the points, of course, part of the Hendricks operation. Ron Hornaday, part of Dale Earnhardt, Jay Sauter, of course, from the Childress camp. Joe Ruttman in 5th, which is part of the Roush team. So Stacy Compton showing that they're here to stay.
And after those first races of the year, he was back in 30th spot, moved up to 16th, then moved up to like 12th, now into 4th. And he told me yesterday all he wants to do is just keep nipping away. Take one more if he can get it.
Of course, the closer you get to the front, the harder it gets to move.
You got that right. Tony Roper made a pit stop. That's going to put him at the back of the field instead of 12th position where he had qualified. Roper fills in the number 31 out back. Gets ready for a go. Dominic Dobson back there with him. Slides up the row and Chuck Bound was in. He'll try to get himself some running room. Pull up through this thing. Green, yellow, start.
But that means they'll hold their position, they'll throw the green flag, but of course they still will display the yellow, and that'll just officially start this race. The laps will start counting, but it will be under caution, so the field will hold as they are.
Alan Bestwick.
Ken, the reason for Tony Roper's pit stop a moment ago, the earplugs on his radio weren't working. The communication between himself and his crew chief and his spotter, he felt like it was important for him, safety-wise, to make sure he could hear the spotter, so he gave up 12th position on the racetrack and came down pit road to exchange the radio and the earplugs to his helmet. That's a very brave call for a young driver who's got kind of a race-to-race sponsorship deal that they're looking to try and solidify here today.
Ken, that's a brave call, but that's a smart call. You don't want to be without radio communication at no racetrack, but especially at a short track like this where the traffic is so tight, racetrack's wet, a lot of action going to be happening. So that was a smart move, I think, on that race team.
That's an old sponsor name on that number 31 of Roper. Bendix, remember the old Bendix Air races?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
To see them back. Well, up in the front of the field, there sits Joe Ruttman. And this guy, Larry McReynolds, to my right, he was the crew chief for Joe Ruttman. What was it, 85, 86?
1986.
Yeah. Kenny Bernstein's car. And you got a second at Richmond, remember that?
Yeah, it was the second race of the season, actually. Bodine and Waltrip and some guy named Earnhardt decided they wanted to crash on the last lap, and we were sitting back there running fourth. We made it by those guys, but as we made it by them, we spun. Kyle Petty passed us, went on to win the race. We did get cranked up, but almost actually won the second race that we was together. Went on a little bit further in the season and had a good second place finish at Martinsville just a few weeks later.
Going to be hard to get around Joe from the pole today, isn't it?
Well, it is hard to pass here, and the people that can take care of their tires the best is the people that's at the front, because they don't have to deal with traffic. So he can kind of sit up there and almost run his own pace in the beginning.
You see what he's got to run on. 8 degrees in the turns, 4 degrees in the straightaways, and 850 feet. It's amazing how much you can put under those wheels and how much power you can get onto that truck as you get down into turn 1. We were talking 125. I think that's a legit speed for turn 1 here.
I think so. They'll turn a lot of RPMs here at the end of the straightaway. The speeds are really slow down in the middle of the corner, and when they go to accelerate, get back to that throttle, that's when those wheels will start to spin late in a run.
Steve Burns.
Well, Larry, you talked about a subject about when they get on the throttle and get up off the corner. One of the crew chiefs this morning told me that he was really surprised at how teams had gone with so many different gear combinations. At Portland, he said many of the teams ran the same gear, but here, a big difference. Teams going with a lot of different gear combinations.
Well, I think what they're doing there, Steve, the teams that elected to go with the lower gear, they'll probably be a little stronger when the tires are fresh. But when those tires give up and those tires start to spin, I think the teams maybe with a little bit higher gear, they'll probably shine just a little bit brighter at the end of a run.
Gambler's choice when it comes to gears, and you get ready to pull this 0.6 of a mile. Out here they call it a half. Funny, when you were a kid, you'd go to those old fairgrounds, and half mile looked like the biggest thing you'd ever seen in your life, Larry. You get here now and say, geez, that really a half mile?
It really is. We go to so many 2-mile racetracks, 1.5-mile racetracks, places like Daytona and Talladega. It's like, boy, this is awfully small to be a racetrack.
Yeah, it's a real racetrack. Short track racing, the second one of the season here on TBS. The trucks will move on to Odessa, Missouri. Then they're going on the road course at Watkins Glen, New York. Then down to Texas in early June. I think it's June the 5th. They're back there on that 1.5 miles. That's going to be some show. All right, pace truck is coming down, and we may see it pull in here. And we get ready to go green after 3 laps of caution.
Get ready. Get ready. It's going. Go, go, go.
And the go, 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 that front row, they went. Second row, they were just back about 3-4 car lengths. They did not nose up on them as they came down and took green. 3 laps complete, coming around a complete 4. Ruttman in front, Jay Sauter. Came out of a great racing family in Wisconsin. Stays in second place. And on this Mother's Day weekend, we're live at Monroe, Washington. And the NASCAR Craftsman trucks are getting it on. After rain delayed, we're underway with Joe Ruttman in first. Sauter is in second. And they whip him into the back straightaway.
You see Greg Biffle in third there. You'll see the trucks just move up a little bit in the center of the corner, back down to the bottom on the exit of the corner of turn 4 right there.
Stacy Compton lies 4th. Sprague is in 5th. Hornaday is in 6th. Reffner in 7th on the break. And Rushman lies 8th. Mike Wallace holding on to 9th. Randy Tulsma's back there in 10th. I think we're going to see a lot out of Randy Tulsma before this day is over. His his crew chief, the guy building that truck, knows this track by heart.
Here you see Ron Hornaday, Brian Refner going by him there. Hornaday looked like he's not really going here that very good in the early stages.
Ron Hornaday's bumper cam coming up out of 2. Back straightaway. Refner just rifled by him. Hornaday has slipped from 5th back into 7th spot here in the early going.
And you know, it'll be interesting to see if he makes this ground back up. Sometimes that's a sign. We talked about a little while ago of maybe the air pressures being way down. The truck don't really go at the beginning, but once they build up just a little bit, that's when the truck will really start to work the best.
He falls back into the hands of Lonnie Rush in the number 10.
It's a battle for 7th.
Bit of a bump off 4, unsettles those trucks a little. There you see Wallace right in there with him. Hornaday fighting to hold that position. Here comes Wallace in that white truck down to the inside and not getting through. Lonnie Rush still holding position, comes to the inside, scrapes up that number 10 a little and moves on through. So he'll take over in 7th. Hornaday falls to 8th, and here comes Wallace on the inside in the Ken Schrader truck. You hear Hornaday's spotter talking to him.
See Ron Barfield moving in behind Mike Wallace. They've got him. Ron Hornaday hung on the outside there as they go down into turn 3.
10 of 200 laps complete this time by. Ruttman stays in front by 4 truck lengths as he leads going into turn number 1. Jay Sauter's there. Then it's 15 back to Biffle in 3rd. Kid that stood him on the rear in Portland, Oregon, where he had won track championships, got caught on the start. Left out to dry. He was about 8 car lengths in front of the field, was made to go to the rear, and then got collected in a 5-car skirmish up in turn 3 there. Wound up back in 16th spot before the day was over.
Rick Corelli moved into the picture there, following in behind Ron Barfield. This is for 9th place.
Number 6 truck, that is Corelli, and he has a win coming. He has 2/3 this year, and Corelli in that number 6 truck, he's going to be a factor in one of these races for that checkered flag and not too far away. Winner at Bristol a couple of years back. Ooh! Hornaday mixes it up here. Gets into it with Ron Barfield. Remember, Barfield mixed it up with Ron Crawford last week, or 2 weeks ago, last race. And Crawford said some very disparaging
Saw Hornaday
things.
catching the inside wheels there on the grass, upset the truck just a little bit. I think he finally just let that truck go where he could get in line because he knew he was not doing nothing racing him on the outside.
Look at Tony Raines pull up on the outside of that Ford truck. Used to drive a Dodge. Now he's up on Corelli in the number 6. Pretty good run. Tony Raines, he's come up from 18th. They have him up to 12th. Good run. Ruttman stays the course up on the point. And a very good run. Sauter right there in 2nd. Biffle in 3rd. First 100 laps as they kind of establish a pattern out here. Here's Ruttman staying with it. And as you watch on your screen, you see Tony Raines now beginning to work on Hornaday.
Keeps trying to run on the outside right here, getting in the corner. Hornaday shuts the door right there in the middle of the corner. Can't quite get the run off the corner on the outside there.
Raines gives it another shot. Hornaday holds him off. And now this is for 10th. Declare it as 10th, and here comes Corelli down to the inside. Tope is right there in the 61. Tope. Randy Tolsma.
About him now, he hits me again.
He's made such a point about that truck being Tope in color. There it is, that 61. It's a flyer. We think it'll be around. At least I'll take that as a truck to watch in the final laps of this one to be up in front. Well, Hornaday has held him off. Maybe he's got that tire pressure up there.
Maybe that might be it. I think Steve Burns can tell us what's going on with the Hornaday truck.
Well, Larry, what we're seeing on the racetrack is maturity by Ron Hornaday. He has not radioed a word to his crew, but before the race, he said, I'm going to take it easy early, which ties right into the theme of what we're talking about, going slow so that you can go fast later on.
Let's take a look at a Mobil 1 driver summary on that driver, Ron Hornaday, who is really putting on some show as you look out the back.
In on the back stretch going to
Currently 10th. We got caution out. Got trouble up in the corner. Ooh, take a look at Andy Houston, the rookie.
That's
in
Rick,
trouble, and
Rick McRae.
Rick McRae is right there with him. First caution of the day, lap 18.
Ken, it looks like the biggest problem they've got right here. I think their trucks would go, but that infield is so wet and muddy, you just see the tires spinning, and they actually can't get out of that infield.
Take a look at what happened here.
This is going down into turn 3. There you see Andy Houston getting sideways. There you see Chuck Bound coming in there, and Rick McRae getting in the back of them there. They slide off into that wet infield, and I'm afraid they might be there for a little bit. A lot of damage there on the left front of Andy Houston's truck.
Going to cost him a lap and then some. We'll take a break and be back in Monroe, Washington. The trucks are rumbling here this afternoon on TBS. Second short track race out of the Northwest. Chuck Bound is in?
Yep.
He's trying to not lose a lap. Is that right? Did he lose a lap?
The 19 to hold inside, but he decided to go to the outside.
I don't...
Ooh. Can we get some pictures of Chuck Bound's truck when you come back? Left front, right front.
All right, we're on lap 20 right now.
Yeah, he did not lose a lap.
How those guys get cut better, I mean. You put that rebelling back in it, get the thing to turn better getting in.
Show us the right side of Chuck Bound's truck. It's really pretty interesting.
On.
Promotional fees and considerations have been paid by Napa, Ice House, Pennzoil, and Dodge.
Completing lap number 21 under caution after a two-truck incident up in turn number 3. As you see the number 60 being extricated. Andy Houston, the rookie, bashed into the back and stuck in the mud. Steve Burns.
And Chuck Bound was involved in that skirmish, and his tire, the right front tire, sits smoking. He came in here for a pit stop. The tire is just shredded, actually. He had to come in and get it changed. He's back on the racetrack and did not lose a lap. Let's go now to Alan Bestwick.
You're looking at Terry Cook, the Sandusky, Ohio driver who had fallen back very quickly off the start. He thinks he's got a broken axle. Gary Showalter, the crew chief, is checking both rear axles now. There you see Gary coming around to this side of the truck. They're going to see if they can find out what is causing him to basically not have any power up off the corner in the rear wheels.
Meanwhile, we saw Ernie Cope also pit. And he's pitted twice and come back out, not losing a lap in the Tom Gloy truck, number 55, the Ice House truck. There's the number 60 back from the swamps. Andy Houston. Take a look at what happened here.
It's just looking out of the truck of Bar said, going down the back straightaway there. You see the smoke where Andy Houston and Rick McRae got together. Morris goes to the outside there and goes by.
The 60's back and ready to go. And they're still trying to fish the other one out of the inside here. A couple of days of rain, you get off the track, you're going to be there a while. Now there's Chuck Bounds. Cunningham, number 57, thrashed on the right side. That's the tire that went down, cut away. No.
And you know, remember, under the truck rules, that's the only way they could change that tire, that it was flat that way. Otherwise, it would be a 5-lap penalty. But when you've got a tire that's cut that bad and flat, they will let you come in and change it. But you can only change the tire that actually is cut down.
Looks pretty good on that side, but the other side is nothing to take home to mother. Here's Ruttman leading. There's the 42 pulling away after it was caught in that event. Rick McRae in turn number 3.
Not a lot of damage to that truck, but again, I think he was just stuck in the mud, and a little bit of damage there to the left front, but looks like the left front tire might actually be rubbing, so he's going to have to come in and get that pulled off. But the biggest problem, I think, he was stuck down there and just couldn't get out.
Looks like at least 5 laps on both of those trucks that were stuck in there. And we'll see if they're going to pit or try to stay with it. Rick McRae out of Highland, California, the second one to be taken out. He lost an extra lap. He may be down to 6. Drove in some 25 Winston Cup races back in the late 70s through the 80s. Another look.
This is coming down the backstretch here. You see Andy Houston getting a little bit sideways there. Comes across the racetrack. This is where he gets into Chuck Bound. Boom. That's what cut Chuck's tire down. Goes back across the racetrack, gets it straightened up, but Rick McRae is going to get in the back of him there, and they both going to end up sliding down in the infield.
And that's where they stayed. Alan Bestwick.
You are looking at Andy Houston's crew, the crew chief Rick Wren there, trying to work on some of the damage to the front end. The nose is pushed all the way down to the ground. So the front of the front bumper is dragging on the ground on Andy Houston's machine. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Hey, Alan, likewise here on Rick McRae's number 42 Chevrolet. Some damage to the left front of this car, the left front, or of the truck rather, the left front of this Chevy truck. Rick McRae, they're looking at the sheet metal on the back, but again, they're going to get that duct tape on it, and he should get back out on the racetrack.
Lap or 2 away from a green flag restart after the first caution at lap 19. And that 42 is going to make it back out here. Rick McRae, the former Winston Cup driver out of the California area, comes out, and so does the number 60 as well. And the Houston.
This is kind of a unique pit road. You actually enter pit road down at turn 1, and this is the exit of pit road, which is right there about the middle of the front straightaway. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the old Nashville pits, where it was kind of a round pit road in the infield.
There's the field coming by, led by Ruttman, set on the pole, 99.7 miles per hour. I'll tell you, there's one truck that is really coming up through and doing a grand job out here. And that's Tony Roper's number 31. There you see it. Roper, who had started 32nd on the field, now finds himself in 21st position. Roper's having another very good day. Pace truck is in. Field is down out of turn 4. And as they come to the 25th lap, we're back under green. After the first official caution of the day, we had a 3-lap technical caution at the start. We really checked the track out, and we're away with Ruttman pulling to 3 truck lengths over the second place Jay Stoddard, who started on the outside, remains in second. Sprague is in third. He's moved around Biffle, and Biffle's back to 4th spot.
Truck's pretty much in a single line down the front stretch. You know they got to make these tires go 75 more laps, letting it drift up in the middle of the corner. Come off the corner right there off turn 2.
Stacy Compton back to 5th. Slid a couple of spots from that starting position, and he may be playing it cool, waiting a little later on in this race. Live on TBS from Monroe, Washington, the Evergreen State Fairgrounds, where they've been racing for almost as long as NASCAR has been around. Old pavement, tough on equipment. Goodyear comes with a harder tire. It's not going to be as fast, but we think it's going to be a lot more racy before this one's over. You're riding with Biffle. He's back there in 4th spot as you look at the Napa field standings. Take a look at Sprague. Wants to chew up a little on that second place solder truck. Randy Tulsma stays right in there. There's Mike Bliss on the inside of the number 2 truck, and he's got Rick Crawford pinned on the outside. Crawford and Compton, I think those are a couple of names to watch for the future in Winston Cup. Is Crawford out of Mobile, Alabama. He can mow them down. Right now, Bliss has him pinned, and Bliss has every kind of track record here on this facility. Sprint cars, midgets, he's done it all. big star out of Milwaukee, Oregon, in this part of the country, Mike Bliss, beginning to roll through. Won here 2 years ago. And from that ASE truck, we look out the back. See, they've got Crawford pinned a little on the high side. Crawford knows these size tracks. Cut his teeth down there in Alabama and over at Pensacola. Actually won that Snowball Derby, that great race they hold down there each and every autumn, late autumn. To Alan Bestwick.
Well, Ken, you mentioned Stacy Compton just a minute ago. Stacy says his truck is a little snug in the corner. That means it doesn't quite turn as well in the center of the corner as he would like it to. He said when Jack Sprague came up on him, he let him go. He said it's much too early to start using the tires up racing hard.
Long way to go with now 31 of 200 laps complete, Larry.
Well, that's the thing, you know. The trucks are going to get loose up off the corner, and if they won't turn in the middle, then you're going to abuse the front tires, then you're going to abuse the rear tires off the corner. So the best thing they could do is not push the issue right now. Let them go on and get some laps under their belt.
Stacy Compton there in pit spot being challenged by Brian Refner. Refner in the 66 looking very good. Let's take a look at a Mobil 1 driver summary on Stacy Compton.
Quarter, inside. It'll be clear behind him if you want to let him go.
Refner making a very good run on him. All clear. Back for second spot. Look at Jack Sprague in the number 24, the white truck closing up on Jay Sauter. Sprague's radio as he closes down on number 3. He's able to hold a tighter line on 4.
Sprague's truck really goes through the center of the corner good right there. That seems like where he makes the biggest move on Jay Sauter right there. Right there in the center. See, Jay moves up a little bit. Sprague almost gets under him there. Jay pulls on back in front of him as they come off turn 2, headed down the backstretch right there.
See if he's going to take a shot at him here.
Right there on the exit of the corner. He gets right up beside him. There you see Sprague's truck almost dragging the ground there on the right front. That shows they got that truck pretty soft in the front end.
Waits him out. Lets Sauter drive in a little harder and keeps opening up that inside. Jack Sprague in the number 24 working on Jay Sauter for second spot.
Jay runs that high line off the exit of the corner, and that will keep a little more momentum right there. But I believe Sprague's going to get it this time over in turn 4.
Still there. Clear outside.
Clears him down the front straightaway.
Listening to the communications on Jack Sprague as he takes over in second spot. Mark it down, lap 36. He goes into second. Meanwhile, further back, Roper. And with him, Dominic Dobson closes up on the number 90 of Lance Norwick. He's well back in the battle. For what, 18th?
This is a battle, I think, for 19th.
19th spot. Big move from back outside the front 30. Here comes Roper down to the inside of Norwick. Pulls back again.
There you see
Mobil 1 driver summary there.
Seconds. So that's pretty impressive when you look at we're going to run 35 laps as hard as it is to pass here.
Tony Raines' viewpoint as he looks at Randy Tulsma just in front of him in the 12th position. Here's Roper going to the outside on Norwick. Now cuts to the inside off turn 4. Whoa, take a look at Sprague just blow Joe Ruttman off as they come through 3 and 4. Just wheeled underneath him. Sprague has really got that number 24 truck working on the bottom.
Really goes through the middle good, hangs to the bottom off the exit, and we'll see what kind of a lead he builds here. But I would say if they're smart, if he gets him a little bit of a lead, he won't push the envelope right here. He'll get him just a comfortable lead and just ride this thing out and take care of those tires.
The 1-800 Bone Marrow truck. Up in front, 66. Refner may be falling off the pace a little. Back into the clutches of Stacy Compton, the winner in our last time out here on TBS. Refner out of the Midwest, great racing family. His father, one of the truly great Midwestern champions, winner of over 400 races. Brian has followed in his dad's footsteps, done a darn good job. By golly, Compton's going to have some trouble catching on to him. He said he was falling back. He may have missed just for a moment in a corner and slipped up, but he's back with the throttle. Here comes Compton another time. And just in front of them, you see Ron Barfield, who was the epicenter of that big confab last week in Portland when he and Rick Crawford got into it big time.
This is a battle for 7th position.
Alan Bestwick has a report for us.
Ken, talking about Brian Refner, he's fallen back a couple of positions over the last several laps. His crew chief Les Bach says Brian's a little loose coming up off the corner. He said, you kind of expect that here. He's just trying not to abuse the tires. We've heard that storyline a lot already, haven't we?
Sure have. Tell you this story we have heard a lot of. Sprague. Remember he led 81 laps at Homestead, and he came back, pulled off the same kind of deal, led 93 at Phoenix, and here he goes at Monroe in front. Can he stay there?
You know what, Kim, when that thing start getting loose off the corner here, you know the only thing that will cure it, 4 more fresh tires. So they still got a long way to go here. We got about 65 laps before that halfway point, so he's got to drive that thing with some real finesse up off the corner with that throttle.
And if you're just joining us for the first time to watch the NASCAR Craftsman trucks, the halftime is the main feature of this event, and it allows the folks to go to work on these things and see if they can improve, like Mike Wallace is trying to improve on Randy Tulsman. There's Mike down to the inside in the number 52 and trying to make his way through. Wallace on Biffle. Gets it. Got him anyway.
It's a battle for 4th position now as Mike Wallace moves into 4th. Here you see Ron Barfield moving up as well on Greg Biffle. Moves to the inside there off turn 2. Looks like he's going to take the position as they head down the back straightaway as we look out the left side of Greg Biffle's car. He wins the battle getting into turn 3 right here. Brian Refner is going to follow.
Halfway mark is 100 laps, 101, and that's what they'll run to, 100 laps, 101 laps in this first half of the event. And they've got Biffle pinned on the outside, taking advantage of it. Refner in the number 66 clearing ground.
Clear.
Monty Rush goes by him as well. You see the black truck there, the 88 truck. That's Terry Cook. He's several laps down right here, so he's really not a factor.
So Refner goes up to 7th, Compton into 8th, Rush to 9th, as Biffle falls back.
Here you see Ron Hornaday move to the inside of Terry Cook's truck as they go down the back straightaway.
Cook running a lap down.
Whoa, moves to the outside of Terry Cook going into turn 3. He says, guys, I believe I've been patient long enough. It's time to go.
Corelli right there with him in the number 6 in 11th spot. Hornaday is in 10th, Corelli in 6th, and here comes Randy Tulsma in 11th spot. I think they're playing this hand pretty easily here this afternoon, although you would wonder with the weather the way it is if they might not want to pick up the pace a little now that we're in 50 laps halfway through the first segment.
It looks like Ron Hornaday's a pretty good student, though. He knows a year ago, as we saw in the rain delay replay, that he used his tires up right at the beginning of the race last year. So what he's doing here, he's shown some patience. Now it's time. We're almost halfway through this first 100 laps. 49 laps already run, so it's time to get going here because it is going to get hard to pass, especially as the tires get wore down.
And Hornaday may be in just that much better shape. Remember, we saw Hornaday pull his stunt at Denver on that track a year ago. He was running so slow at one point, you thought, hey, there's something wrong with the thing, and then he torched it up.
See Bob Keselowski moving to the inside of Mike Bliss. This is a battle for 14th position.
Keselowski eases it down on the bottom, takes that spot. Mike Bliss has blown engines the last 2 races in that number 2 truck prepared by Barry Dotson. They went back to the drawing boards on that. That a bit of a strange circumstance for that team. Always strong in the motor department. Take a look at this number 26. That's Doug George getting back into it big time. And there's Lance Norwick, who's been able to hold off Tony Roper, who made that initial run and took 11 spots, but he got to Norwick, and Norwick is holding firm in the NHL number 90 truck. Here's Norwick looking up front. Lance Norwick's number 90, having a very good run at the present time. you see Roper right there behind him trying to close down on that number 31, and that's been an ongoing contest and a good one to follow. Roper back there in 16th, Lance Norwick in 17th as we look further back in the field.
I believe Roper has a little bit quicker truck here, but again, it's just the closer you get to the front, the more your tires get worn, it just gets that much harder to pass. Roper's truck really working good on the bottom on the exit of the corner right there.
Now Hornaday is up to 9th position, and he has about 20 truck lengths to Roper, who is the next man to knock off if he can get to him, or rather to Rush. Rush in the number 54 truck, about 20 truck lengths up on him.
Roper looks like he's wanting to try it on the outside here as they come through 3 and 4. That's a pretty tough pass to make right there. He falls back in line as they head down the front straightaway.
Riding with Lance Norwick. Coolest game on earth. Meets the hottest game these days, NASCAR racing. NHL meets NASCAR right here in Monroe, Washington. And here's Tony Roper wheeling around Cope in the 55 going a lap down. That's Ernie Cope, who had been the crew chief. Resendez was released from that ride after Portland. Tom Loy is looking over several drivers for the future. I understand Dorsey Schrader is going to take that truck up to Watkins Glen.
Can't think of a better one to get in on a road course.
Great champion on the road courses. Dorsey's getting a little more experience on the ovals. Good racer and a great personality.
See Wayne Anderson there in that 84, the red truck there. Wayne's first year on the truck series here, coming out of the Slim Jim All-Pro Series last year.
19th. And something's wrong with Crawford. Crawford's backed up big time in this race. That's not Rick Crawford.
He's falling back to 20th position
as we know him. Mike Bliss staying with the field but not moving up there to challenge in any way. That's a bit of a surprise. We thought he might be far further, and I've got to say, Randy Tolsma, we really thought was going to show us a lot. Randy Tolsma is in 11th, and then maybe he's waiting for that halftime break and then try to put it on. He probably knows enough about these Cascade Mountains that when you see the mist just so far up that he feels he's going to be okay to make a run in that second half. Look at Roper down to the inside on Norwick here.
You know, we talked about it in the beginning. This racetrack had so much rain on it, all the rubber was washed off. Well, it's just about now the racetrack is starting to what we call come in. Rubber's starting to get on the racetrack. So where the big strategy is going to be coming is what adjustments they get to make to these trucks during the halftime break. Alan, that's what's going on down your way.
Well, we've been talking about Tony Roper a lot, Larry, and folks may not be familiar with this young man. He's a 33-year-old from Fair Grove, Missouri, and he's a second-generation racer. His father was a many-time stock car champion in the United States Auto Club back when they ran those full-fendered cars. Driving the team he drives for is owned by a veteran of the ARCA series, Bob Brevac, a very successful campaigner for them for many years, and they went through the entire 1997 season with one truck and one engine and only a couple of crewmen. That's an extraordinary amount of work to haul back and forth across the United States and go racing week after week with just the one piece of machinery to do so. Today, of course, they had to drop to the back after pitting on the pace laps when his radio wasn't working. He's trying to charge back up to the front. He's obviously got a good truck because he qualified for this race fairly well. He started, or was scheduled to start, in the 12th position.
Scheduled for 12th, and here he is, still bucking traffic and moving toward the front. He had a 12th at Phoenix, a 10th at Portland. He is definitely on a roll right now and looking very good here.
He's moved into 17th position, actually up into 16th position, so he's working his way to the front here with about 35 laps to go in this first half.
Lance Norwick finally gets back down to the bottom. He was hung out on the line for a while. There you see the 31, Roper closing another time, and let's see who he's after this time. He's after George, Doug George in the 63.
Saw Greg Biffle there in the 50 truck. He's really fallen back after starting up near the front. He's fallen back to 19th position, so the handling definitely not where they want it to be on that truck.
I-70 Speedway, Odessa, Missouri is the next stop for these trucks, and if you're in the Missouri area, that'll be a homecoming for Roper and company. Roper told me that he owns...
Whoa! Wayne Anderson getting sideways, gets up against the wall in turn 1 and 2. Went up and just barely kissed the wall. We stayed green, though, no caution.
Almost gave his autograph right there.
It's getting just a little bit too racy getting into turn 1 right there.
Roper was saying that he has pretty much put his name on all of the fourth turn wall down at the old I-70. Says, I know that one by heart and it can catch you. Yellow is out. Caution is down. Second caution of the day. This at lap 65. Jack Sprague still in front. Ruttman in second. Sauter in third. And Wallace in fourth. As to the why, we'll get it from NASCAR in just a moment. But there is a second caution down. Just flagged up the 66th lap on the field. There you see the leader, Jack Sprague, in the white number 24. We'll take a quick break and come back and tell you for why the yellow was thrown out here. Stay with us. We're at Monroe, Washington. The NASCAR Craftsman trucks are having at it.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? May 3rd, 1997, Portland Speedway. Truck number 16 of Ron Hornaday and the 17 with Rich Bickle driving battled early in the event. After starting 7th, the 99 of Chuck Bound was an early contender for victory. While behind him, Joe Ruttman in number 80 moved up from the 30th starting position to battle Dodge driver Bob Keselowski in number 29. But who won? Here's the list of contenders. The answer when we return. Starting from the pole, Rich Bickle collected the victory prize in Portland. Chuck Bound's bid for victory ended with mechanical troubles that placed him 27. Joe Ruttman's run ended after a great drive to the front when he tangled with Tammy Jo Kirk. With 15 laps to go, Rich Bickle made the decisive pass around Ron Hornaday and cruised to his first NASCAR Truck Series victory. Who Won was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beer. This Bud's for you.
Lap 70 still under caution. Let's go down to Alan Bestwick.
Well, Ken, Greg Biffle came in and pitted under this caution. Randy Goss is his crew chief. Randy, you'd fallen way back. Now you came in and have gone all the way to the back. What's wrong?
I don't know. The thing was really good at first. I think we got the left rear tire mopped off it, so we got the track bar down some. We're going to take a look at the half and see if we can fix it.
That's Randy Goss, the crew chief for Greg Biffle. He's at the back of the line after pitting now. Let's go over to Steve Burns.
Well, Alan, you talked about young Tony Roper moments ago as a driver that viewers may not be familiar with. The same with Lonnie Rush in the number 10 truck. What a great story. He's from Ohio, graduated from Ohio State University in 1989 with a degree in welding engineering and mechanical engineering. He raced some ASA in the Midwest, then worked his way east to North Carolina. He was hired by Bill Elliott. He did some test driving for Bill. He worked on the shock program before leaving to drive for another truck team owned by Charles Hardy. Well, now he owns the team. He's got financial help from a partner named Jerry Wharton. Their shop is in Mooresville, North Carolina. Lonnie has just 5 full-time employees. He works on the trucks himself and drives them out here, and he's putting on a great show today. He started 10th, and now he rides 8th.
Came out of the quarter midget ranks. Back in '74, he started there and won 162 of 244 races. Take a look at Lonnie Rush as we get ready to go green from Pickerington, Ohio. The 81 and 82 national champion in quarter midgets. 29 trucks on the lead lap as we come to lap number 70. We were told originally that caution was for Wayne Anderson. It may be that the speed camera on the back straightaway got untethered. They ran up against that wall over there. Anyway, we're back under green at lap 71. You've got Jack Sprague in front, and in second spot, it continues to be Ruttman. There he is in the 99, and here comes Mike Wallace down on the inside, challenging for third spot. Jay Sauter is there. They're wheel to wheel to the line. Mike Wallace having a great day in the Schrader truck. Pure 152 for third spot. Is he going to get it? He does indeed. My golly, he's got that thing wound today. Mike Wallace has had some poor results of recent.
Jay Sauter not willing to give up. Runs back on him there in the middle of 3 and 4.
Gave him just a little love tap as they came into 3. Didn't upset him. Just let him know he was there. So Sauter falls into 4th. Barfield's in 5th. Refner is 6th. Compton 7th. Rush is 8th. Ron Hornaday is up to 9th. 73 laps complete. The halfway mark at lap 101. There's that number 42 truck involved in that first altercation that brought out our first caution of the day, Rick McRae. Stacy Compton back in there. Remember that Compton is in 7th after he started 4th on the day.
Ron Hornaday driving his left side wheels all the way down through the grass there. Ron's in the 8th position right now.
And Rush falls to 9th in number 10. Hornaday begins to crank it up in that Napa truck as time runs out in this first segment.
Looking out the front of Ron Hornaday's truck there as he goes down into turn 1 here. Looking right up on Stacy Compton.
Hornaday getting real racy as we get to the end of this segment, the end of the back straightaway. See the lights flickering on here. He really gets down below that white line now and then right here.
Right here on the exit of the corner. Half the truck all the way down in the infield right there. It gives him a good bite up on that front straightaway. Right here it's just so hard to pass, so it looks like he's going to try it on the outside. The outside of Stacy Compton in turn 1 and 2.
Got a lot of smoke going into turn number 1 from one truck, but it continues on. No caution.
Still there, you're clear.
Here's Hornaday making that run on the outside, and Compton right back after him for 7th spot.
Run up on the truck of Brian Refner here as they come down the front straightaway.
Refner begins to feel the hot breath of Ron Hornaday. Compton falling back. Hornaday coming on, 19-time winner. In the Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday begins to beat a little on Refner. The inside, is he going to be able to put? No,
look at Ron all the way down in the infield right there. Again, you just got to believe that Ron has definitely saved his truck and saved his tires here with about 22 laps to go. That's when you see Brian Refner moving up right there. That's when these trucks really become ill handling with these tires here. They've been on there almost 80 laps, and that's when they really start playing a role in who's going to have the best truck. Here you see Ron Hornaday moving to the inside of Brian Refner. This is for 6th position.
You're clear.
6th spot now belongs to him, and he brings Compton with him. Compton goes to 7th. Refner in number 66 falls to 8th.
That Hornaday make you hold, follow them all through.
that's a pretty good theory there. I believe I wouldn't mind following Hornaday through some holes, because I believe he'll make some pretty big ones there. You heard the spotter telling him.
Oh,
20 to go.
There's the report, 20 to go to halftime. Whoa, Tony Raines in trouble there. Nose is out of the groove and down to the inside. A couple of trucks getting beneath him.
See Boris said right there. Boris running in the 27th position. Made a pit stop a while ago. Of course, again, you can't change tires. All you can do is make chassis adjustments. Looking out the back of his truck here as he head down the back straightaway.
Inside.
Roper's number 31. Looks like it's gone about as far as it's going to go here. In 17th position in this first segment from 32nd.
Really wiggling, getting down in the corner right there as he goes underneath Boris.
Second place. Joe Ruttman in the 99 comes back after Mike Wallace for second.
I believe Mike Wallace did a good job of conserving his tires there in early going as he's been moving up here these last few laps. Again, as he moves past Joe Ruttman, that's second position. As we have about 18 laps to go here before the halfway.
Ruttman had set on the pole, now back there in third. Sauter continues to be your leader in number 24. Showing 83 laps now complete. I'll tell you the one that you really need to give a call for in all of this, Barfield in the number 35 having a great run. Ron Barfield's number 35 picking up the pace, staying right with it, working on Jay Sauter now. Jay Sauter's number 3 is in 4th position, Barfield in 5th, and behind them comes Hornaday. And Hornaday has about 25 truck lengths to capture this 3 and 35 battle.
You're all clear. Good job, buddy.
Starting to really race right there. There you saw the spotter tell him he was clear, pumping him up, telling him he's doing a good job.
Doesn't look like Hornaday has enough time left in the first half to collect any more positions. 85 now complete. 15 to when we start thinking about halftime.
No, Ron, he learned what his truck did, though, in that first half. I got a feeling we won't see him be quite as patient in that second 100 laps.
That's Stacy Compton's radio you're listening to. Randy Tulsma is back in 11th spot, and Rush has fallen to 12th. Still, that's a great performance thus far by Lonnie Rush. In the first half of this race in Monroe, Washington, the NASCAR Craftsman trucks at it for the 5th time this year. And what a show they're giving this packed house at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds on a rainy day where we started more than an hour and a half past post time. But the track's dried out and giving us a great show. After watching Joe Ruttman lead, Sauter was able to move into the first spot. And now we have Wallace and Ruttman duking it out for second. We have Sauter running in 4th, and he's grappling with Barfield in that position at the present time.
There you see Mike Bliss right there. Butch Miller running in front of him right there. That's Butch Miller's running in 15th position. Mike Bliss in 16th. See Lance Norwick behind him there in the 90 truck.
In 17th, Norwick. Oklahoma City driver came into the trucks a year ago and is really giving a good accounting for himself. Running some good, consistent, strong laps. Not easy to do in these great, big, heavy, old super trucks that NASCAR's created. Handful.
They can be a handful, and again, we keep talking about it, but when these tires get wore out, they even become a double handful. Mike Bliss, they just don't look like he really comes off the corner. There you see the 78 truck of Dominic Dobson in trouble there a little bit as they go down the back straightaway.
7 times an Indianapolis starter, but having to learn it all over again. He said he's never driven anything like this, and for sure that would be true. 1,600-pound Indy car, 3,400-pound truck.
I was going to say a lot less power and a lot more weight.
Throw out a sail, we want to hit the brakes.
These things don't quite handle like those Indy cars do. Not quite the downforce.
Give him credit for being out there and sticking with it.
He's running in the 25th position right now. Here you see Jack Sprague, the leader. So get about 9 laps to go. Now, he's got a pretty good lead, but as you see, he's starting to run up on some heavy lap traffic going on the outside of Terry Cook's truck.
Still there, clear inside.
Spotter telling him clear inside as he clears the Terry Cook truck.
And trying to clear Chuck Bound, running in 22nd position as well. There's the good news about Chuck Bound. Whitewood comes around, you see the other side. And there is the bad news. Here's Alan Bestwick.
Well, you see them pushing Doug George's Ford away. Doug's standing here talking with members of the team. Doug, what happened?
Well, I tell you, the auto trim design Ford was running really great, and you know, my hat's off to my crew guys because we've been working really hard trying to get through not breaking something. And you know, we got through practice good and we qualified good, and I think we broke a roller lifter or something. But man, I mean, it's just like every weekend we're breaking something. You know, it'd kind of be nice to finish the whole race.
Doug, a little frustrated today. The former Winston West champ is out of it just before halfway.
Well, Hornaday has moved around and taken Sprague. And here he is after George. Boy, he was 25 truck lengths back. And now he's whipping them here in these final laps.
Just when we thought he was went as far as he's going to go, here he's working on Ron Barfield. This is for the 3rd position. Watch him. He gets all the way. Look at him go through the middle of the corner, down on the grass of the infield. Grass flying, mud flying, he don't care. He's going to the front.
Comes up on the lap truck of Boris said. A little bit of a break. Using that 44 high, but not for long. Here's Hornaday right there.
Look at him. It don't phase him a bit to run down through the infield.
94 laps complete. Barfield beginning to feel the strength of that Napa rig. Hornaday on the bottom and then some. Annie Lauren, he's going to be in that reservoir that's built up in turns 3 and 4. Clear. Hornaday to 3rd spot. And he made up an incredible distance in about 10 laps. Tires must have gone away completely on Sauter, and Barfield is just holding on, and Hornaday continues to ripple up through. Only thing left is Sprague and Wallace. Sprague comes by, and he has a big advantage over Wallace, given about 30 truck lengths, and an equal margin back to Hornaday as we get ready to end the first half. 97 laps complete when they come by this time.
Yeah, I don't believe, obviously, Wallace can catch Sprague, and I don't think, I'm not going to say Hornaday can't catch Mike Wallace. There you see Jay Sauter. He's really got his hands full. And Keselowski, Ryan Reffner start working on the back of him. I know he wants 4 good years just as soon as he can get in and get them.
Turning it sideways, dirt tracking, as you saw there on the number 3 of Sauter. As he begins to fall back, wow, into 8th. Remember, he ran right up. Here's Reffner coming through now in the 66. We got trouble up in the corner.
Yellow with the line. It's behind you. You're clear.
That's Dominic Dobson. Caution is out, Ken.
And Cope got on the binders to avoid it. I don't think he was involved at all, but Derek Cope stood it up on his nose, keep from getting collected with the Dominic Dobson truck. 98 complete. We're under caution, and that's the way I believe we're going to go to halftime today. That is the 4th caution of the day. That equals the fewest cautions for this race back in 1995. 4th is out. Take a look at real time of what happened, Larry McReynolds.
This is going down into turn 1 here. There you see Pat going in there. Dominic Dawson looks like he just come around on him there. Again, those tires are wore out. There you see he's already spun out there. Truck's going high, truck's going low. Everybody gets by him. Go by the truck also of Randy Tosmer there, who was involved just a little bit.
99 laps on the board. This will be official as they come to the next lap. They've got it in, rain or no rain. Better than an hour and a half delay to get this thing cranked up today in Monroe, Washington. 2 weeks of sunshine, just pure golden springtime out here. Then it got to be race day, and, well, here we are. Dominic Dobson on this Mother's Day. Having a little problem or two. We're at 99 laps. We're almost down to halfway with Jack Sprague out in front. He's given it a good run. Remember, he was 2nd here a year ago. He's never won this. Hornaday won it the first year. And Mike Bliss. Rich Bickle won it last year after starting on the pole with Sprague. Finally get his victory here at Monroe. He's got another half to go. We'll be talking to Jack Sprague and to all the other principals in this
lap
event.
100 when you cross the line there.
There it is, 100 coming out. So Jack Sprague is in the lead, and they'll be pitting the trucks in just a moment, and we'll be going down into that area to see these guys. As we go to break, let's listen to some Mother's Day wishes from some of these stars.
Well, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. I wish my mother was still here, but boy, I sure do wish all the other mothers out there happy Mother's Day, and I know what she meant to me, so I really thank you.
He did get lapped. $600 promo card. Okay. I have it. I have the number 6 promo card, right? 1960 cars went 3 wide. Is that it?
Yeah.
Hello? Well, I got the wrong card.
If you get a chance, you might tell me actually whose radios we are listening to. I know we're listening to Hornaday and Compton. So there's 4 of them. Okay. Okay. Do we know how long the break is?
How long is the break? What do you mean the break down there? I'm not going to make a big thing out of that. Okay. Yep. Time for the NASCAR Craftsman halftime stretch here at Monroe, Washington. The NASCAR continues to roll through its 50th celebration of great racing years. Don't forget, coming up, the race, Coca-Cola 600, May 24th, 5:35, starting daylight, race into the night, only on the Superstation. In one of the crown jewels of American motorsport, the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go to Steve Burns.
And Ken, this is money time for the teams. Mike Wallace sits in the Pure Later Chevy. This is the only time the teams can make adjustments. Mike, you have never been on this track before, but you sit second. What will you guys do to this truck to make it even better?
Well, we're a hair tight getting you in through the center, but otherwise the truck's perfect. We made a little spring rubber adjustment on the left front here for the race, but I'm real happy with the whole crew. The Pure Later team that has done a great job. We brought this thing from 7th to running 2nd. We got Jack to race, and we'll check our tire wear, know where we're at, and we can go win this thing at the end.
Any adjustments, Mike?
Just a small spring rubber in the left front. Just a little bit that we don't hurt ourselves is what it amounts to. Trying to get a hair better, but hey, we've done great. Carl and the kids are at home. You know, she told me to win before. When I left, she walked out the door and says, I want to see a win when I come back, so we're going to try to bring it home.
All right, well, Mike Wallace looks relaxed in that truck. Let's go back now and check with Ron Hornaday. Hornaday is sitting right behind. Ron, had a good run in the first half. You see the team at work. What will you guys do to make it even better?
I really don't know what you got to do to make this Napa Chevrolet better. Goodyear came out with a little bit harder tire. Everybody went out there, started setting a real fast pace, and they were knocking me around. So I finally had to start motivating and get myself going and trying to use the dirt a little bit. We're a little tight, so we're going to change the front bar. I don't know if we should or not, but we got to make it turn better to get up in there. But we gotta do something for that 24 truck. I don't know. Could I probably run into him on the start or something? I don't know.
Oh, that sounds serious. Let's check in with Alan Bestwick.
All right, I'm here with Joe Ruttman. Joe, you led for the first 38 laps, then fell back to second, then really fell back in the last little going in this first half. What's wrong?
I'm getting a little tired. No. No, it's the grip in the rear that we was losing, and I didn't expect it to quite go that bad. So we're going to make a spring change and see if that can make up the difference. We're overworking the left rear too at the same time, so I'm not sure which way to carry it. So it's kind of a calculated guess at this point, but it was just a rear grip is what was happening to us.
So Joe Ruttman going to try and run back up from 5th if he can in the final 100 laps of this event. Let's go back to Steve Burns.
Alan, Jack Sprague sits in the number 24 truck here. Boy, Jack, you guys made it look good. You said you didn't make that many changes before the race. How about now?
Well, I tell you what, first thing I want to do is say Happy Mother's Day to my wife and my mom. And Hendrick Chevrolet's running awful good. It's a little bit tight, but every time we mess with it, we shoot ourselves in the foot. So we're not going to touch it this time.
All right, Hornaday said he's coming. We just talked to him.
Tell him to bring it on.
All right, Alan.
They sound like they're loaded for bear up there. Ron Barfield sounds pretty confident too. Ron, you said to me just before we came on the air here, you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I tell you, this Ortho Long and Going Chevrolet has been running good. I mean, the whole time we've been here, and it just stays around. You got to keep your tires under you the whole race, and you can't get on the bottom and burn your stuff up. That's why it's so important for track position here. And like I say, this a good race team. Hal Dooley, the crew chief on this deal, and Ortho and New Holland, Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce is a sponsor on this week, and I think we're going to be pretty good here for the second half.
Ron feels pretty confident. He'll restart 4th. Ken?
Yeah, he's cooking on something more than barbecue sauce out there. Hey, we'll be back to see who's going to win the top trophy today at Monroe, Washington. NASCAR Craftsman trucks always have a spectacular second half.
Thank you, Scott. Good job. Scott's fighting for slots there. We have the NASCAR Truck Network, also TBS, the Superstation.
Day.
The television folks who will rejoin now our NASCAR Truck Network.
Yeah, I was trying to
You still working on Ruttman? No, he's away. All right, we're back with you once again, getting ready for a look at our Mopar mid-race report. Some of the highlights from the first half of this race. You see 2 leaders, lead changes. We've had just one, and that's when Jack Sprague got around Ruttman, the average speed at 71 miles an hour. There have been 4 cautions in the event, and there are still 20 trucks in the lead lap, with only 1 truck retired thus far from the event. Now, the lap leaders, there you see it. Jack Sprague, leading 63, never having won here. Ruttman, the pole sitter, the remainder of it. Doug George had an engine go out. That's the 1 retiree. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights here, Larry, from this first part of the race. Early on, it was McRae and Houston getting into trouble up here in turn 4.
This was on lap 19. There you see Andy Houston, Rick McRae spinning there. This was on lap 39 when Jack Sprague takes the lead, going underneath Joe Ruttman into turn 3, and led for the rest of the way, all the way up to the halfway point.
Now for the rundown. Thank you very much. There you have Sprague in first, Wallace in second. I think he likes it out here in the West. Remember, he had that great race at Fontana a year ago, finished second, his best performance. You got Hornaday third, Barfield in there, Ruttman, Compton in the top 6 as we get ready to unlimber these trucks in the second half of this event. Keselowski has come back to 7th, Refner falling to 8th. You have Sauter in 9th as he fell back, Talsma right there in 10th. Carilli is 11th, and Rush in the number 10 truck. Lonnie Rush stays right up in the hunt as well in the 12th position.
Here you see Tony Roper. He's in the 13th position. Wayne Anderson in 14th. Butch Miller having a run in the 15th position. Lance Norwick in 16th. Randy Nelson in 17th. And Mike Bliss ended up the first segment in 18th position.
And further back, you've got Harvick, Raines, Crawford, Chuck Bound in 22nd. Those are the trucks reported up to the 20th spot in the lead lap to Raines. Crawford just went a lap down as we came to the end of that first segment.
You know, Ken, it was interesting listening to the adjustments on the front trucks there. You know, Mike Wallace talked about his truck not turning quite as good. They stiffen that left front spring. That'll help it get in through the middle. The big thing, hopefully it won't hurt the exit of the corner. That's the thing I probably listened to Ron Hornaday saying. They went smaller on the front sway bar. That will definitely help the truck turn in the middle, but I've also seen where going to a smaller sway bar, I certainly don't want to second guess Fred Graves' success he's had, but that can certainly hurt the forward bike. I'm not sure Jack Sprague and them didn't do the best thing. No adjustments.
We'll stay tuned and see what happens. Sauter fell from 5th to 9th in those final 5 green laps as we get ready to go green again. You see Bound, a lap truck down on the inside. Hornaday getting up here to take a run on Wallace as we get ready to start the second half. It's underway as Jack Sprague pulls them down into turn 1, and they get back with the program on the 6/10 of a mile track. Jack Sprague in front, has never won in Monroe in the 3 previous events here. Field away and looking good. Now into turn 4. So easy to over massage in these halftime breaks. Hornaday steady in 3rd. It's around Bound. Stays right with it. Barfield in that yellow truck just behind, maintaining 4th position, followed by Ruttman, who would set on the pole if you're just joining us at 99.7 miles per hour. This 6/10 of a mile track.
Mike Wallace really making a run there as they come off turn 4, pulling right up on the back bumper of Jack Sprague's truck as they head off into turn 1. There you see Mike complaining about his truck not turning in. Looked like it turned in awfully good there. Sprague gets the run up off the corner though.
Sprague not wanting to give up that first spot, at the same time doesn't want to burn off that rubber. Hornaday laying a little bit further back.
Mike Wallace dipping those left side wheels off in the dirt there just a little bit in turn 4.
And for the moment, Hornaday driving a bit defensively here. He's holding, you see those lap trucks staying right with him. He's not going up to attack these 2 leaders right now.
Well, again, he's got the leaders in sight. You know, he can be a little more patient here. I'm sure he's not going to let them get too far away, but he knows they've got to get 95 laps here run. He wants to kind of see where they're the strongest, where they're the weakest, and I'm sure he'll be up there before it's over with.
Here's Boris Said in the Federated Auto Parts, number 44. Further back in the field, running in 26th spot. He's got Jimmy Hensley up on the outside.
Boris actually running 2 laps down right here in 26th place.
You don't want to get off in that water on the inside of 3 and 4. You can get mired, as those first 2 trucks that got in trouble, that was the problem they had. McRae got together over there with Houston. Alan Bestwick.
Ken, a follow-up on a story we mentioned earlier. You talked about Rick Crawford not having a very Crawford-like day, wasn't running very well. Problem he's got is that the shifter lever has broken off inside the truck, and he has only 4th gear.
Got caution on the speedway. Mike Bliss, I believe that's the truck of Kevin Harvick, get together over in turn 3.
The kid Harvick, who was looking for a good finish today, on fire. Safety crew right there for Kevin Harvick. That looks like the end of his day, and it's going to take a little more to put that one out. That is the 5th caution of the day as Kevin Harvick walks away from what looks like a ripper down there into the outside fence. Bakersfield, California runner Mike Bliss on the pit road quickly in the number 2, and the ill winds continue to blow for Mike Bliss. 2 blown engines, had one Homestead, 3 laps to go, ran out of gas there. Just one of those years you wish you could skip over and get on to the next so far for him. As you watch the kid walk away from a hard hit. That is the longest walk in sport. When there's not enough left to take it back, you got to walk back to that pit area.
A lot of damage there on the right front of Mike Bliss's truck as he comes back out onto the racetrack.
So there you see the number 2 in the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet involved in that incident. Number 5, 5th caution, 5th indeed. And here's a look at what happened.
This is going down into turn 3 right here. There you see they just got together at the end of the straightaway there and up into the outside retaining wall. A lot of damage to both of those trucks. Mike Bliss pulls away, but he did go a lap down.
Leaving 19, leaving 18 now in the lead lap. 18 trucks staying in the lead lap. He is pitted to number 2. Back out again, Mike Bliss. Harvick, that one looks like it's terminal.
I don't believe they'll get that truck back out on the racetrack. You could tell as he walked away from it, he knew there pretty much wasn't no sense in getting in a big hurry, because I don't think that's going to be back today. He'll have to wait till they go to I-70 here in a couple of weeks.
There's a little bit about Kevin Harvick, young driver out of the Southwest Tour of NASCAR, and what a great tour that has become. A lot of great talent out here in the Southwest. Some of it we see up here in the Truck Series now. Hornaday, Skinner came out of that group, and Bliss is back in another time. Take a look at what Tony Raines saw.
Was looking out the front of his truck there. You see Mike Bliss on the inside, Kevin Harvick on the outside. Mike moves up into him. They just get together, beating and banging there. Both of them wanted the same spot, and it wouldn't work.
And they were pretty much even across. It was that way. That's how it appeared.
This is going down the front straightaway right before it happened. There you see Mike Bliss pulling to the inside through turn 1 and 2. Probably door handle to door handle right here. They come up off turn 2. I don't believe Mike really knew he was there, possibly. There you see they get together hard into the outside wall. I noticed as Mike pulled in the pits a while ago, I'm sure he's got some, looks like some bent suspension. The right front tire was really laying in on it, so I'm sure that's going to be a pretty ill handling piece the rest of the day.
I think that's a telltale look too. You see him reach up towards that sternum. I wonder if he didn't take a harder blow than that young man thinks. Let's go to Alan Bestwick.
Well, Kevin Harvick has just almost finished his long walk back. Kevin, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's too bad. Made a couple adjustments. Truck seemed pretty good. I guess Bliss didn't want to race very good. But, you know, that's short track racing. We'll come back next week.
All right, Kevin, better luck next time. Kevin Harvick trying to win 2 NASCAR championships in the same year, the Craftsman Truck Series and the Winston West Series. He'll not make out too well today.
We'll take a quick break and return once again. 110 of 200 laps are now complete at the Evergreen Speedway, the old fairgrounds in Monroe, Washington, live on TBS.
You're not eating your bananas, Ken.
Oh, my heart, thank you for reminding me. Gracious sakes, I don't know what to do without you.
They're rotten enough there.
Well, they're ripening. They're not rotten, they're just ripening. Would you like one of the bananas?
No, thank
you. You could have one. I mean, you've been such a help. Certainly, they're deserving. I think that Mr. Harvick was particularly enthralled.
You can tell. He handled it with dignity, though.
Mm-hmm.
Rated Auto Parts, Team ASE, Auto Week, and Plasticoat.
Back here in Monroe, Washington, getting ready on a restart. Mike Bliss coming back out. Let's get more on that story from Steve Burns.
And Mike Bliss just in getting some work done. His crew chief, Barry Dotson. Barry, I saw Mike get out of the truck when Kevin Harvick walked by. Some hot tempers. What happened?
Well, it's a lack of common sense is what it is, more than hot temper. You know, we struggle anyway to have a good run. We've got off to a pretty tough start. And just not a real smart piece of driving. You know, I'm not talking about our driver. He was doing good. We had the truck a lot better, marching from the rear, and here we are again, but what goes around comes around, they say.
All right, we're back at green.
As the world turns, as they say. All right, back to it. Jack Sprague has the advantage as we get back underway, having completed 113 laps. Sprague out in front. Looking into second place, you've got Wallace right there with Hornaday in third, and Wallace relentless in trying to take over. And Biffle is back into it. He's gone on to the lead lap. Greg Biffle, who had gone a lap down the pole sitter at Portland, young Northwest driver, wants to make himself a contender. That's happened here before. Hornaday came from a lap back, made himself a factor previous race on this speedway.
Here's
35 in front.
Barfield off the pace right here. Something's happened to that truck. Yeah, Greg Biffle has got himself back on the lead lap. What Greg Biffle needs right now is an 18th spot to the tail end of the lead lap. He needs a caution.
Didn't break another motor, did he?
Barfield in trouble. Here's Alan Bestwick.
Ken, something's gone wrong with the transmission on the restart. He could not get it up to the proper gear the way he needed to. He's fallen all the way back now. He's got fourth gear, but that's all he's got.
17th position. Hey, this could work out for him like running on 7 cylinders for Bickle if he's only got fourth gear.
I don't know about that. He would need this thing to go green the rest of the way. Certainly they don't shift here in Monroe, but it takes forever to get up to speed with just having high gear. That's awfully hard on the clutch. Once you get up to speed, if you've got high gear, you're fine. But on restarts, you're going to lose almost a lap just with it being in fourth gear.
Well, they're going to run green all the way from here, Larry.
Okay, I'm going to watch closely, Ken.
117 laps are now complete. Don't bet on that one. As we continue to watch Mike Wallace, he's backed off just a little in his effort to catch Sauter, and there you see the 16, Hornaday in third. Hornaday fell all the way back out of the top 10 in those initial laps. And here's the 61 beginning to close up a little. Randy Tolsma into ninth. Rick Corelli in the 6 right with him. How soon before Rick Corelli's number 6, 2 third places this year, been around in every event, is going to win that second race.
This is looking out the side of Boris' set truck as he looks down on Lonnie Rush. Again, Boris 2 laps down. Boris not really having a very banner day. I know what race he's looking for, though, here in a couple of weeks. Be the race up at Watkins Glen. I heard they had a new truck down in Savannah at a road course testing it. So I think they're looking forward to a road course race coming up here.
11th place is the number 10, that blue, aqua blue, number 10 of Lonnie Rush. And just in front of him, Corelli. Give Rush 11th and call Corelli 10th. That's official. And they're working on Jay Sauter. Poor Jay Sauter. Held back those 5 spots at the end of the first segment of this event. Just ran the tires right off it. Randy Tolsma works on Sauter another time.
To the inside as they head into turn 3. Jay shuts the door. As they run up on the truck with Brian Reffner. Calls back to the inside there.
In the Napa Field standings. See them up there, and we're keeping a real eye out here to see if Tolsma is going to do something with Sauter right about now. 8th spot is Sauter.
Corelli sitting there saying, Tolsma, if you'll open the door, I'll follow you through it.
That's right. Rush stays right there in 11th now.
Getting a little bit sideways there off turn 4 was Lonnie Rush.
Back up in front here, that's the 3rd spot with Hornaday.
That group behind him looked like they wanted to try to get 3 wide off turn 2 there. That just won't work. They decided to better get back in line. The truck of Andy Houston, Joe Ruttman there in the 4th position. Keselowski right behind him there in the Dodge, running 5th as we look out the back of Ron Hornaday's truck here. Ron running in the 3rd position.
So what's Hornaday's strategy? It looks like he's controlling everything that's going on behind him here. The Mobil 1 driver summary coming up here on Hornaday. Currently up there in 3rd. Now Ruttman is cleared out of some lap traffic and he's with him.
Really make a run on him there up off the corner. I don't know. Maybe Ron being a little patient here, watching the laps wind down. Ruttman going to try the outside there. That really is not going to work. Falls back in line as they head down the back straightaway.
It would seem to me that Hornaday is looking for at least another caution, and he is willing, using those lap trucks, to back them up a little, give himself a little relief here. He doesn't let anybody get away from him particularly, but the 2 leaders have a straightaway advantage over him. Sprague has a full straightaway advantage on Hornaday as we reach lap 125. In the middle of that straightaway would be Wallace in 2nd spot. Then Hornaday back here in 3rd. As he comes out of 2, you have your leader well into 3. That's still very much closer than they were in the first half of this event. Hornaday really backed it up and then at the end made that incredible surge that brought him up through. There's that leader, Jack Sprague, continuing to move on, leading the point standings, but still without a win in the 1998 season. And there's Biffle in the number 50.
He couldn't hold him off any longer, Ken. He went back a lap down there, so Biffle is still in 18th position, but he's back a lap down.
Greg Biffle with a good accounting for himself today. Gave a great run at Portland to take the pole. He got in trouble right at the outset.
Greg just really being smooth with that truck. Not abusing it through the corner. Lets it just come up off the bottom of the corner on the straightaway there. Lets it kind of ride up in the middle of the corner there in 1 and 2, up off turn 2. Just seems like everything's going his way. Everything just being really smooth.
There you see that 24 all the way down into the corner. And Hornaday just up out of the hole in turn 2. As exiting 4. Now here's Rick Carilli going wheel to wheel with Rush. And you see that 31, that's Tony Roper back up to 12th after starting 32nd. Qualified 12th, and then at the start in the rear, made a pit stop on the pace lap, had trouble with his radio.
And you know, he's got a good truck, but that just shows you about track position. He has spent this entire 130 laps trying to get back to the front. That just shows you how hard it is to pass here at a short track like Monroe.
Battle for 6. A battle for 10th between truck 6 and truck number 10. Carilli and Rush.
See Bob Keselowski moving to the inside of Joe Ruttman as they move into turn 1. Stacy Compton's going to follow. This is your 4th, 5th, and 6th place.
Still there. Clear
Randy
outside, clear all
going to
around.
move to the inside. Keselowski opened the door, almost like
behind.
restrictor plate racing. About 3 or 4 of them's going to leave him hung on the outside.
A little more punch coming off the corner. There's Talsma down to the bottom, and he's pulled up another one. He's up to 8th. Sauter has fallen to 9th. Rush is back to 10th.
Ryan Reffner moving to the inside as well. Hanlon really looked like it's going away there. Jimmy Hensley, of course, he's a lap down in the 43 truck. Looks like he's just not getting a very good bite up off the corner, but he can't get his truck back down to the bottom.
One of those Chrysler products with Keselowski looking good. Yeah, Ruttman is in trouble. Here's Hensley getting beneath him. Some adjustment apparently didn't work too well for them at halftime.
Hensley's in the 19th position. Again, he is a lap down, as Greg Biffle is.
Number 43, Hensley, working on the bottom. Big red Dodge. Again, they're carrying 120 to 125 miles per hour down in the corner when they touch the brakes. Going into 1 and into 3. And here's a Mobil 1 driver summary on Jimmy Hensley.
Running 19th. That's the highest he's been in the running order all day.
Let's move up to the front of this pack. Catch this group here. And as you see, Stacy Compton in that blue number 86 working on Keselowski in the 29.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th right there.
Keselowski with all those years in the Automobile Racing Club of America. Great ARCA competitor. Champion there. Holding on to that spot. He's won in the Truck Series for Chrysler in 86. The winner at Portland in our last time together here on TBS. Staying right right with him. Keselowski 4th, Compton 5th, and the tow truck. Truck driver's very upset if you call that thing tan or brown.
I was warned not to call it tan or brown.
That's taupe. Apparently all those truck drivers got together and had the colors done, and taupe it is.
Compton moving to the inside. I believe he's finally going to get the position here on Keselowski.
Still there. Still there.
You hear the
Clear.
spotter,
Clear all
Stacy Compton, telling him still there, and finally cleared him as they head down the front straightaway into turn 1. Randy Talsmer, Brian Refner's going to follow. It's like if you get hung on the outside, 2 or 3 of them's going to freight train you right there. Keselowski's going to have to settle to move back into 7th position.
That's the trick in short track racing. And it puts Compton into a place to strike on the leaders. Jack Sprague is your leader with a total of 137 laps now complete. Wallace in 2nd and Hornaday in 3rd.
He's kind of running out there all by himself. About 100 truck lengths back to Mike Wallace, about 100 truck lengths to a bunch of lap trucks. So this is when you can really be smooth. You're not being pressured from behind. You don't have a lot of lap trucks. This is when you can really take care of those tires. There you see him just let it float up off the corner there off turn 2.
480 and 485.
So he thinks he's at a comfortable pace to win this race, that he's not overdriving the tires, that he's got the stuff to take it the distance.
Well, and again, the reason he don't want to overdrive him, if they get a caution, that's going to put Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday right on his back bumper, and he's going to have a lot more tires than they've got, so he don't have to push the envelope right here.
And the distance stays identical to what it was as this race stabilizes over the front 3 spots. You have Sprague in front by a straightaway to Hornaday in 3rd, and midway in that straightaway you find Mike Wallace in 2nd place.
Just saw Lonnie Rush go by Jay Sauter. That's for the 8th position there as they head off into turn 3. Alan Beston, what's going on down in the pits?
Well, Larry, and Kevin Cram is Stacy Compton's crew chief. He told me this is the stage of the race. If you're a crew chief and a driver, that's the real chess game. How hard do you race to try and get positions and stay in contact with Jack Sprague versus having something left for the final laps? We've still got 60 to go. He said we can't let Sprague get too far away in case we don't get a caution. Then our chances to win are sunk. But if we use too much up and we get a caution that brings him back to us, we've got nothing left to race him with. So real scrutinizing going on down here by the crew chiefs, looking at stopwatches lap after lap, trying to decide when to let the reins go and let the drivers run that pony as hard as it'll go.
Well, they've still got a tight rein on them. The one that has the easy rein at the present time is running as loose as he can, is that truck up in front of Sprague. Everywhere else, it's a real dogfight. We don't know much about Wallace, however. He looks pretty strong.
But I tell you, somebody that's not saving anything is Lonnie Rush. He just moved by Bob Keselowski for the 7th position, so he's marching to the front here with that 10 truck.
Refner's just in front of him in 6th. Then Randy Talsma has come up to 5th. The story on that Talsma truck with the crew chief they have, who's come off this track and won so many races here, David Fuchs, Dave Fuchs. He knows, at one time they said that in this part of the country, if you started a late model race, 70% of the field would all be Fuchs cars. 70% of the starting field would be equipment he had built, and he knows these tracks so well. And he's had experience with all kinds of equipment on the Southwest Tour. He's been back to the East. It's a pretty natural combination, and Talsman is a very smart, careful driver.
And there's nothing like experience, whether it's a driver or whether it's a crew chief. There's just nothing like experience.
Well, here's Sprague using all, and here's Bliss back out. He's been in the pits for another 2 or 3 laps recently, so the guy that won it in '96 is a no factor here at the present time.
We're looking at the feet of Mike Bliss right here. Now this of course is the throttle pedal, and this is the brake. There you see he's 2-foot braking, mashes the gas there, coming off the corner, keeps his foot up on that brake pedal right there, mashes the brake, lets off the throttle, getting into the corner, just eases back to the throttle. You see he don't stomp it. In fact, it's probably well up on the straightaway before he actually mashes it all the way. That's probably well down the straightaway when he actually mashes it. Into the corner, off the throttle, applies a little bit of brake, eases back off the brake, eases back to that throttle, up on the straightaway. Now I can mash it all the way down. So again, he's driving this truck with the throttle pedal as much as he's driving with the steering wheel.
I asked Mike Bliss about his mom for Mother's Day. He says 20 years of Meals on Wheels. From everything he's run, stocks to sprints to trucks, she's been there ready to do the cooking. the details get done in a racer's life.
You know, watching his foot on the accelerator pedal right there, we used to tell our drivers this a lot at North Wilkesboro. I heard Steve Burns mention it easier. It's like the first part of this race, I want you to pretend you've got an egg on top of that throttle pedal. And your goal is don't break that egg with your pedal. I'll tell you when you can break the egg and mash it hard.
Okay, here you have Sprague. He doesn't look any too. Oh, Rush has just scraped the fence a little here. Truck number 10, but keeps on going. Looking for his first top 10 finish in the racing series. Best finish has been 13 down at Orlando, but he may have scrubbed that one up a little.
Now, he didn't lose a position, but there you see Jay Sauter, Bob Keselowski moving up on the back of him there. Jay Sauter starting to move to the inside of Keselowski, clears him getting down to turn 1. And there you see that Tony Roper just marching his way forward. This is a battle for the 9th position as he clears Keselowski off turn 2.
Back into the top 10 goes Roper for another time. Take a look at Lonnie Rush, just scraping the fence.
He hit that wall pretty hard there, Ken, as he got off into turn 1. It'd be interesting to see if he knocked the front end out there. Jay Sauter really working on the back bumper. There you see a lot of damage to the right side of that truck. He very well probably bent a ball joint or bent a tie rod, knocked the toe out. So that could make that thing not drive as good as it was.
Looks like it's leaning just a bit as it comes off the corner. Lonnie Rush.
Look at 31, Tony Roper, all the way down to the infield. Can't quite make the pass there on Jay Sauter as they come off turn 4. I tell you, he may very well have one of the fastest trucks. The thing would be, can he get to the front, though, get a caution to help him out?
161 complete of 200 to be run. Rick Corelli right there as well, trying to get underneath Roper.
You know, Ken, as we saw these trucks drop their left side wheels off the infield, a lot of times if a race vehicle, be it a truck or a car, is not turning in the middle, a lot of times you can hook those left side wheels on the infield, and that'll actually help the truck go ahead and turn off the corner.
Boy, take a look at Jim Roper. Trying once again, gets it down for the Tony Roper to the inside, and he holds Sauter out there. Is he going to sneak it through? He is, and if he gets through, is he going to bring Rick Corelli with him? Indeed. Corelli gets the fender up to the door. That's all he's going to need to take one more.
Wins the battle getting off in the corner.
So continuing to roll through this field, Rick Corelli picks up another spot, and just in front of Corelli, now into 10th. You got Roper continuing to attack and trying to make himself one of the top finishers here today. He's got to go some to beat that guy, number 24, Jack Sprague. How will it finish? We'll see shortly.
Flat, 510.
Yeah, Roper to 8th, Corelli to 9th for that move on Sauter.
I don't believe anybody's going to handle Mr. Sprague if he don't have no trouble.
86 and 61, that's your race.
510.
Maybe.
Still there, still there, still there, still there.
I have the card. I have the card. Hey, don't miss NBA playoff action on TNT tomorrow night at 9 as the Rookie of the Year, Tim Duncan of the San Antonio Spurs, try again against Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz, followed by Inside the NBA, only on TNT. On On TBS, this is your battle at Monroe, Washington, just up the road a piece from Seattle. Stacy Compton out of Virginia, fighting number 61, Randy Tulsma out of Idaho. And this struggle around this 0.6 of a mile track has been a dandy for the past several laps. 5th position and 4th and 5th.
40
right
laps to go. 40.
40 laps to go is the word to Ron Hornaday. He's running in 3rd position. So if he's got anything to turn up, now's the time to do it.
40 to go. 40 to go.
160 on the book. Here's Tulsman. Back, taking a peek at 4th, under 86. Stacy Compton.
Running just a little bit lower line through the corner. Sneaks a peek there on the inside. There you hear Stacy Compton's spotters telling he was taking a look, but he was clear as they go off into turn 1.
South Boston Speedway, one of those 100 NASCAR short tracks, one of the 100 that has done the most to bring some of the top talent of the day. The Sadler brothers, the Burton brothers have come off that track and raced against this guy Compton, and look at him continue.
Meanwhile, quarter to clear.
Stacy Compton's spotter doing a good job there. There you tell him he's got a quarter panel there on him, on his quarter panel. Bearings were getting a little bit loose there off turn 2. Really working on the back of Stacy Compton. Dropping it down to the infield.
Quarter.
Just can't quite make that pass there.
Clear all around.
Clear all around except the rear bumper, which he's all over. Getting the step up of that truck, and you're going to find number 61 flanked right there.
What's going to be interesting there, you see they're going to run up on these lap trucks here. They could play a factor and they either work against Stacy Compton or work for him.
I think it might work against him. Tulsma has a lot of experience in those midgets and short track cars. Run so tight and so fast together that might work in Tulsma, but didn't that time. Now there's Mike Wallace in number 52, driving a very steady race and holding on to 2nd spot. About 25 truck lengths back. Steve Burns, what can you tell us about it?
Well, Timmy Cahoot is Mike Wallace's crew chief. Timmy, the question is, Jack Sprague looks strong. Do you have anything for him? Well, right now we're just, you know, Sprague, us, and Hornaday. Everybody's just trying to ride as easy as we can, saving tires. I don't know if we'll catch another caution here or not. It'll be real interesting if we were, you know, would catch one and we'd all go back to green. We'll just have to see who's been holding up their tires the best. Mike's doing a real good job, and we'll just get a good finisher for Pure later to get us back up into points. Okay, Kinsfire.
Thank you very much. There's the story on Wallace, your 2nd place runner. Boy, he got pinched down there pretty tight. Randy Nelson. Ooh. I think he told Randy he wanted to go through. I think he gave him the thrown horn right there.
You see the leader, Jack Sprague. This would be the only thing that could work for Mike Wallace is Sprague having to work these lap trucks. Here you see him in the middle of about 4 trucks. He gets by Borstead and them pretty good. There you look at it out the front of Borstead's truck, looking toward the leader.
You saw him go around Lance Norbeck, who's back in 15th. Outside. Anderson, the number 84 in 16th, and Raines was falling back. And Hornaday is moving down the inside, and he's closed up, and he's on Wallace. Hornaday making his move, and it's Hornaday to the inside, and he has got Kenny Wallace. Michael Wallace. Get them all in there. He's got one of that Wallace gang out of Missouri.
It's time for Hornaday to go to the front here with about 32 laps to go. He knows he's got to go now. He may not get a caution to hit him.
He whipped him big time and draws away. Hornaday's going looking for Sprague. This has happened before, friends. This could get real interesting. With less than 40 laps to go, Hornaday polishes off Mike Wallace for 3rd and goes looking for the leader for 2nd and goes looking for the leader.
Clear.
I believe he can catch him.
Still there. Clear outside.
He's running down a bunch. It was a half a second fast.
Keep giving me those intervals every lap. What do you mean? You're kidding. Wow. intervals.
Sprague's got a lot of traffic in front of him, though.
.25 laps to go. And this is the man in front, Jack Sprague. The advantage was 3 6/10 of a second 10 laps ago. Now it is 2.27. Hornaday. He's bent on getting up there, but he's got to bend some lap cars if he's going to get there.
The whole thing, that don't mean that Jack Sprague's truck is slowing down, but he's catching lap traffic. Here you see him catching Jay Sauter. This is the 13th place truck, but the problem is what traffic that Sprague catches, eventually Hornaday is going to have to deal with him. So it's going to be catching them in the right place as to how this race is going to unfold.
Meanwhile, that interval closes all the time with Hornaday in second. Boy, here's the 16 truck right there in second spot. Ron Hornaday, twice a winner in the 4 races run this year in the Craftsman Truck Series. With 23 to go, back to 2.4. So Sprague got a little bit of break in all of that traffic.
One of the best friends that Hornaday's got right now is his spotter. His spotter should be running around the spotter stand talking to these lap truck spotters saying, hey, give us a break when we get to you. We need to catch that leader. We're running out of laps.
But Keselowski is running 11th spot. Is he going to give him any running room? We'll see. Not yet. Hole on the inside. Goes for it. Has it.
Still there. Still there. Still there. Still there. Still there.
Clear on the outside.
Saw the spotter tell him he was still there. He finally cleared him.
Mike Wallace now lies third. Compton in fourth. Talsma in fifth. Refner sixth. Corelli in seventh. And the interval first to second goes to 2.5.
Those 2 trucks you see behind Jack Sprague, that's the only trucks right now that separate him from Hornaday. So if Hornaday can catch those 2 trucks in the right place, which the best place is on the straightaway, he can reel Sprague even a little bit more. You see it's a little ways up to some lap traffic though before Sprague catches him.
20 laps, 20.
There you hear the call to Hornaday, 20 to go. And this is when he really turned it up in the first half of the race. See those 2 lap trucks between him and Sprague, your leader. We'll show you that interview between first and second spot. There's Keselowski's truck. Hornaday diving on the inside underneath it. And then he has Butch Miller to contend with. Meanwhile, further back, look at this scramble. There's the 6 Talsma right there with Compton. That's for 4th and 5th.
Looks like he can use the lap truck of Rick Crawford kind of as a roadblock there to get by.
Clear.
Randy Talsma in number 61. Clear in 4th spot. Stacy Compton right there behind him in the number 86. So the question remains up in front. Can Sauter maintain this pace that he has established at the outset of the second half? Hornaday now trying to close in. He has closed and dealt with Keselowski. Now he has done the same with Miller, and he is clear.
Hornaday bringing these fans to their feet. He's really using that truck up now, hitting infield, bouncing across the curb. He knows he's running out of laps. There you see him over in turn 2. Up against the wall on the back straightaway. 17 laps to go, so there's no more patience. There's no more taking care of the tires. There's no more taking care of the truck. He's got to go after Jack Sprague.
Ron Hornaday throwing everything he has at it as he goes for that 3rd win of the season.
Jack Sprague in a lot of lap trucks right here right now. This could be a factor here.
Yeah, Jack Sprague getting caught up for the moment. And some of those are duking it out for position. They won't be any too interested in pulling over to let him through. They've got their own squabble to settle. Barfield up on the 42. I think there's some laps between those two guys. 42 was involved in that early
Just you and him, buddy.
They brought out the first caution, Rick McRae. Back to 2 and 3/10 seconds.
15 to go.
You heard Hornaday asking his spotter, how many laps can I get him, you know? He knows he's got a good truck right here. The question is he going to run out of laps as he clears the lap truck of Forrest said?
Braves are coming up next. Stay tuned here on on TBS. The Braves are next, and they'll be playing San Diego. The best in the East meets the best in the West.
Battle for third position there. Randy Talsma moving by Mike Wallace there. Stacy Compton moved into the picture there. Randy Talsma has an awfully good truck here as well. He's just going to run a lap out of laps as well.
Talsma in the third spot, and the interval goes under 2 seconds for the first time. 1 9/10 between leader and second place. Watching Talsma, he's up to third. Ooh, rush sliding a bit. But Sprague was already through and on his way as he ducks and darts and moves around these lap trucks. Comes up on Barfield again, and there's that second place, and it's down to 1 6/10 seconds.
All these trucks that Sprague's catching right now, they're all lead lap trucks, and they're trying to stay on the lead lap. Ron Barfield, he was running in 9th position, so Jack Sprague has lapped all but 8 trucks.
1.5 as Hornaday continues to close ground. Sprague by.
Clear.
Comes Hornaday. And the crowd reacting as they see Hornaday come into the main straightaway, closing ever closer. Let's check that interval between first and second. 1.6. Getting back just a little. Here's Mike Wallace falling into the hands of Stacy Compton for fourth.
Getting a little tap there over
It'll be
turn 1
jamming
and 2.
next time by. Chuck's giving you room to work with him, everybody.
That the trucks are going to give him room to work with, and there's 10 laps to go as they cross the finish line this time.
10 to go this time by. Stacy Compton up on the outside makes a run on Mike Wallace. Interval goes to 1 3/10 seconds between first and second. Between Sprague first and Hornaday. And look at this fight as Stacy Compton keeps on coming after Wallace for fourth spot.
Inside.
Not only are they having to deal with each other, they're having to deal with all these lap trucks. You heard Stacy Compton's spotter tell him it's clear inside. Just come on.
Crowd up and cheering as Hornaday gets ever closer. Stacy Compton makes his move. Here's Hornaday, and there's the interval up to first place. It's 1.1 seconds.
Hornaday really driving that thing down in the corner right there. Gets a good bite up off the corner. The 8 to go this time. 1 truck between them. It's going to be interesting, Ken. Can he catch him?
Ron Hornaday, master of short track racing. Jack Sprague, master of the miles. Mile track Jack a year ago. Wanted to be known as half mile track Jack. Looks like he may be doing it today. There's the difference between first and second, between the 24 and the Napa number 16 as they come back into the main straightaway. 7 to go, and Hornaday has closed it up again. Ron Hornaday looking for that 20th victory. Scoots high in turn 1 that
he drove
time.
it just a little bit too deep there. He's going to settle back down here. You can't drive it that deep in because he lost a lot of ground there on the exit of the corner.
Made up 2 and almost 2.5 seconds in the last 24 laps has Hornaday.
Right there, he settled back down, stayed good and low off the corner. Still got his lap truck to deal with. That's the truck of Rick McRae, who's many laps down. I'm sure when he catches Rick will let him go on by.
First and seconds now, 1.5 seconds between first and second. And look at this fight between Mike Wallace and Compton continue as they continue their own struggle for fourth place.
Clear.
Using up that number 37 Walters truck as a pick.
Clear inside.
Wallace stays in the spot. Compton trying to take it away. Down to the finish on this. Another try by Compton as you hear 5 to go.
Compton trying it on the high side, trying it on the low side. Mike Wallace making that truck about twice the width that it really is there. Moves him up high off turn 2 there.
The best in the East meets the best in the West next on TBS. It's National League Baseball, America's team, the Atlanta Braves, and San Diego go at it immediately following this race, which was delayed by rain, held up, but what a finish we're getting.
That's the way, man. That's
Stacy
the way.
Compton making the pass there on Mike Wallace. That's for fourth position. Getting down to about 3 laps to go here. Brian Refner as well. Looks like the handlings really went away on Mike Wallace's. Brian Refner really getting sideways off the corner there. He knows he's running out of laps, and this will be the battle for 5th position.
There's your leader, Jack Sprague, under Morissette. 197 into the final 2 laps. It looks like he may be on his way to his first win of 1998. Jack Sprague down into the main straightaway.
Starting to pull a little bit away on Ron now. I think Ron pretty much got the most out of his truck from about lap 170 to 190. And Jack, all he needs to do here is just make sure he works the lap truck. There you see his spotter guiding him around the lap truck. You'll get the white flag next time by.
Around Dominic Dobson.
White flag, Jack.
Don't
White
forget,
flag.
it's the Braves coming up next in San Diego. 4.5, 5 games out in front, both of them. What a struggle that's going to be tonight. White flag is down. This struggle is just about over. Ready to throw the knockout punch. Jack Sprague in number 24, coming through 3 and 4. Jack Sprague headed for his 9th career victory, his first of 1988. He has defeated Hornaday, sliding as he came out of that last corner. Jack Sprague has pulled it off. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. It's been a victory for Jack Sprague in the Craftsman Truck Series here at the Monroe, Washington. Oh, they're sliding to the line. Folks, what a show we've had today. Stay tuned. It's San Diego coming up next to the Braves.
I'm glad they didn't have to leave this race. That would have been terrible.
Wow, there's a big celebration going on down here. Jack Sprague obviously very excited as he jumped out of his Chevrolet. We'll let him get the helmet off. Jack, congratulations, a dominating performance, 162 laps onto the 200 lead today. Wow, what a run.
Well, I tell you, first of all, I got to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom down in Florida and my wife in North Carolina and Rick's mom. And what an awesome ride. I tell you, these guys did a great job. This whole team, Hendrick Motorsports. This was a sweet short track victory for us. We came close last year and we didn't get it, so beat Ron Hornaday on a short track. Kind of knows how he felt when he beat me at Phoenix now.
Take me through those last several laps. You're dealing with all the lap traffic. Obviously, the handling is tough with the tire wear and so on, and you're trying to stay in front of somebody you can see getting bigger in your mirror. What are you thinking?
Well, these guys had this truck set up so good, Dennis Conner and all the guys, that, you know, the first half I was a little tight and I thought about changing it, but the last 3 races we've changed it and it's bit us. So I said, let's just leave it alone. I think we got something we can win this race with, and the truck was awesome all day.
And as far as those last several laps, any close calls, any worries at all that you were maybe going to let this one get away, or were you confident that you had the horse?
Well, I had enough distance where I could take my time and pick and choose my way through traffic, but hey, I just want to thank everybody at Hendrick Motorsports and everybody that's helped me out. It's a great win for us. We need a sponsor. Maybe this will help us get closer to sponsor. I got to mention Quaker State, Rotary Lift, GM, AC, and AC. Great associates, but we need a primary.
Congratulations, Jack. Jack Sprague, first win of 98, the defending NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champ in victory lane today.
Is it gonna be taped? All right, Ron Hornaday's here. I'll get him momentarily. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Are we ready? Anna, are we ready? All right. Well, Ron, you came in second, but, you know, looking at the numbers, you guys are having a championship season, nothing out of the top 10.
Not at all. And you know what, I'm going to take my hats off to Fred Graves, this whole Napa Chevrolet. These guys made a change, you know, just before qualifying, and it paid off because we qualified 5th. And, you know, we come back here halfway through the race, and now we're finishing second behind Jack. We're happy with it. I mean, we made a big change in halfway brake change and sway bars, and that was a pretty daredevil move, and it worked. I mean, we're happy for it, and that's what we need to do. Top 5 finishes, go for the championship.
Ron, we went green for a long time. If a caution had come out, would you have been able to get around Jack, or was he just that strong?
I don't know if I owe him one or not, but I at least would have hit him so I can get underneath him. But the tires were real slippery. Track rained for 2 days solid here, and we had no rubber on it. So we'd run the bottom and try to get some rubber down there, and I tried to do that. Everybody else was running high, so maybe I hurt my tires in halfway point. But I started too early in the race to try to gather Jack up. I think I had a shot for him, but you don't know. You know, the traffic held him up a little bit, and I started too early for the last 10 laps. I was just slipping and sliding.
All in all, a good run here in the Northwest.
Great, I'll take it. Top 5. I got to thank Teresa and Dale and everybody back home. I mean, they've been working hard, and they got to put another body on this when we get home. It's 2 races we got out of it. We need to go put her on a diet and get some new sheet metal on it.
Okay, Ron, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Anna. Stacy Compton's here. Got it.
Okay, we're going to move down now to our podium, and Dave Pilot.
Well, as Scott said, we have let the celebration begin. Jack Sprague up on the podium, along with NAPA President Steve Hanshew, IPI President Mickey Beadle, and our Miss Evergreen Speedway, Sharon Gilfeather, as they can get the congratulations. And we'll get up here and maybe get another word with Jack Sprague with the trophy in his hand. Excuse me, Mr. Hanshew. Jack, great run for you in the truck. The 24 just never seemed to be able to be caught to this afternoon. The rain held off, and boy, you were just charging all over the racetrack.
Well, these guys did a great job, Dennis Conner and the whole Hendrick Motorsports team, and Hendrick Chevrolet ran off good. We were good here last year and just came up a little bit short, and then with the short period of practice we had, I thought maybe we had an advantage because we...
But it means a lot to this team.
And worked out hard.
Well, we were kind of wondering if your tires were going away, but you sure seem to kind of just be
Okay, how's that?
15 laps of the first half, and then never lost a step in the second half.
Well, they were making me aware of my lap times in the second place.
All right. Now we're with Randy Tolsma, second at Portland, third here in Monroe. Tell me about your race.
It was a great race. The second half, we worked the first half to try to get in some track position, maybe save the tires a little bit too much. Second half we took off. We were a little concerned about the rain, and we needed track position to race with the leaders. And so Dave Hughes, my crew chief, said, take the IWX Motor Freight Chevrolet to the front. Do all you can. Don't worry about conserving anything. So I drove the wheels off of her, and she stayed under me the whole time. And great racing with Stacy Compton, Mike Wallace, the guys. You know, everybody knew where they were, you know, losing tire, and so it was just good, clean racing. That's what the series is about. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series has a great series. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of tough racing, and proud to be here.
Third straight top 10 for Randy Tolsma. A great run here today in Monroe.
Okay. Out the Napacard 200, a tremendous race, and of course a great victory for Jack Sprague.
Well, Stacy, you won at Portland, but another top 5 today. You guys are really hot.
Well, I tell you what, you know, these guys with this Royal Crown Ford done a great job. I sort of dropped the ball today. I ran the truck just a little bit too hard early in the second half and burnt the tires up. But, man, it's a great West Coast swing. You know, we've gotten ourselves back up in points, and we got a real good shot now. I mean, I think we're third. Only 4 in the top 5. You know, I hate that, but, you know, them Fords will get back up here before it's over with. You know, Royal Crown coming aboard. All the guys was out here this weekend. Nobody came last weekend. Everybody came this weekend. But we'll take a 4th and go home. You know, it was a good weekend. It's good Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Stacy, you guys are really building momentum.
We are. You know, this team is so strong. Well, last year we built momentum, and bringing Kevin Cram aboard this year, we've gotten better and better and better. And I tell you, I don't know where this team's going to stop. I feel like we've got as good a team out here right now as anybody here, and hopefully that'll show up as the season goes on.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. All right, with Mike Wallace, who was running second for quite some time, wound up finishing 5th. Mike, tell me about the late going there.
Well, unfortunately, Alan, something just went away in the front of the truck. You know, I mean, we just started sliding the front end really bad down at 1 and 2. Had to slow up so bad to get the truck to turn and give everybody a good run on us. We were still okay in 3 and 4. There's a little groove down there, and you can hook the left front tire in and help turn the thing. But, you know, I thought we had a truck good enough to win the race, especially after the halfway point. I even told the guys, let me go race Sprague for the halfway money, and then we'll see how it shakes out. And 3 laps into it, I realized I couldn't beat him, so I just backed up. And, you know, we know Hornaday is always good in these long races, so I had him read me his lap times and mine. And I knew I was ahead of him, but just wanted to try to run par with him because he always comes on at the end. And we did that, but something just gave up on us. But, you know, after our performance at Portland, which was pretty bad, we come back here in the top 5 is good. You know, I really thought we'd run the top 2 or 3 at the worst, but hey, you take a 5th and go from there.
Okay.
Alan. All right, tell Alan that we're done. Tell him thank you. Oh, he's going to get Sprague again? Okay, thanks. Got it. Got it. Okay, hey, Jeff, start on me and then go ahead to Sprague's name. Okay. Sit for 1 second. Okay. All right, this will be the open for the race day piece. In 5. The short track battle 2 weeks ago in Portland between Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday never really materialized, but here in Monroe is a different story. This time it was Jack Sprague getting the best of Ron Hornaday in their championship battle. I'll do another one because my collar was all goofed up. Okay. Let me see the, Shane, let me see that clipboard real quick. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do. Let me do this open again. Doreen, do you know how many laps Jack Sprague led? So he led 106. Thank you. Okay. Okay, here's the open in 5. Boy, that hot battle between Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday continued to get even hotter. But here in Monroe, Washington, it was Jack Sprague getting the upper hand as he finally won his first race of 19.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay. Take 3 in 5. Well, the sizzling rivalry between Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague got even hotter here in Monroe, Washington, if you can believe that. But this time it was Jack Sprague finally getting his first victory of 1998. Okay, do a bridge, Doreen, to the other bites. I did not. I never did. Okay. Okay. All right, this will be a bridge. Quick bridge in 3. For the second week in a row here in the Pacific Northwest, Randy Tolsma and Stacy Compton had strong runs. Safety in 3. For the second race in a row here in the Pacific Northwest, Stacy Compton and Randy Tolsma had strong runs. And then got to do a close, and I got to do the whipper snapper. Start on the truck. I'll try and do something off the top of my head. I know, I'm going to do something off the top of my head here. Well, Jack Sprague leads Monroe, Washington as the winner of the Napa 200. The next race for the Truck Series in 2 weeks at I-70 Speedway. I'm Steve Burns reporting for Race Day. Okay. Okay. We need to come up.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you. Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, start on me and go on past the Jeff.
Would like to have been on the podium with this second spot in the Napa number 16. But overall, a great race. Jack Sprague really ran hard throughout the whole thing, Scotty, and never relinquished the lead after he took the lead.
In 5. So Jack Sprague enjoys his first victory. Okay.
Pleasure, of course, last year having a little bit of a problem with the Goodyear tire. This year, a much better tire. They got a lot of pleased drivers.
Okay. Yep. All right, in 3. So Jack Sprague enjoys his first victory of 1998. He and the rest of the NASCAR. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead and go faster. Okay. In 3. Jack Sprague gets to enjoy his first victory of 1998 here in Monroe, Washington. In 2 weeks, Sprague, Hornaday, and the rest of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competitors will continue the...
Absolutely, and of course that's going to go throughout the entire season as we have the
I was so close.
1997 champion.
All right, same thing, Jeff. Close in 3. Jack Sprague enjoys his first victory of 1998 here in Monroe, Washington. The next stop for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 2 weeks in Odessa, Missouri. I'm Steve Burns reporting for Race Day. Okay. And then I need to do the little whip around. And I even wrote that down. Stand by.
Flags being up and no serious damage to anybody, and finishing with 28 trucks. That's a great run. It was a great run. Not a whole lot of yellow flags today. A few guardrail rack incidents up into the wall. Randy Tolsma, another good example of
okay. This is the whip. And you can go ahead and go off me again. You don't have to walk, but just pan over. Okay.
Okay. As we talked to him earlier, he was real pleased with his finish, Scott.
Okay, this is the whip around for race day in 3. It was another great short track battle here in the Pacific Northwest between Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday. This time, Jack Sprague is the victor. Now, with more on the Truck Series, here's Bob Dillner in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Like they usually do. Well, I think that's a real good point.
Okay, safety. Same thing, Jack. Well, he's talking about the Truck Series. All right. Okay. All right.
Thanks for the move out.
Okay, here's whip around safety in 3. Another great short track battle in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Here's take 3 in 3. Another great battle here in Monroe, Washington in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series between Hornaday and Sprague. This time, it's Jack Sprague enjoying the victory. Let's go now to Bob Dillner in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Just a wonderful run, and of course that's got a lot of Northwest heritage to that with Dave Booth.
Thank you.
Well, we talked about it during the week. The new Young Alliance have made their appearance. We're sitting on one there on the stage.
Yeah, It doesn't matter, yeah. They're almost done with their hats. Okay, well. Can we get Jack real quick? Race day, Jack.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, get down.
Yeah, man, you're cool there. Doreen, are we cool? Doreen. All right. Well, Jack, you've had a great season, and today even better, your first victory of 98.
Well, I tell you, I can't say enough about this Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet and the associate sponsors we have with Quaker State and Rotary Lift and GMAC and AC. Maybe this will help us get a primary sponsor. We've been hunting all year and just haven't quite got one yet, but Dennis Conner and the whole Hendrick Motorsports crew and everybody back at Hendrick Motorsports and Rick, and I tell you, I can't say enough about these guys. We've had a truck that could have won 4 of the 5 races we've run. We get to the Justin part and I usually mess up, but today was a little tight and we were going to make a change. I said, Dennis, let's just leave it alone and and see if we can't hold them off. And I tell you, that thing was awesome all day.
Jack, at the halfway point, we talked to Hornaday, then talked to you. Ron said, I'm going to come up there and get him, but you never gave him a chance. You guys were that good.
Well, I tell you, the truck was that good, but my crew chief was telling me my lap times and his lap times, and I just ran hard enough to be a tenth or so faster than he was every lap. Made sure I was way away from him so there was no way he could hit me. And, just that way I could pick and choose my way through the lap trucks and not put myself in any danger. But it is a great day for Hendrick Motorsports and my whole crew.
Also, a happy Mother's Day for your wife.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mom, and my wife, Rhonda, and all the moms out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks. All right. Need to what?
Yeah, throw them over here,
What about the camera? Okay.